Hello and welcome everyone to the ISCA Thursday Night Cup Series. Sure are glad to be here. I know I was not here last week. I had some internet issues here which prevented me from covering Atlanta, but that was kind of the race I wanted to see. That, of course, it being high-speed action there at Atlanta, but nonetheless, we're going to keep the action going here tonight at I do believe New Hampshire Motor Speedway, so a little bit different than Atlanta. It's a mile racetrack that is a lot like Martinsville, but a little bit higher speeds. Of course, my name is Brian Britt. I got none other than Big Al in the booth with me. Glad to be back, Big Al. I missed you last week, brother, even though it kind of was an act of God that I didn't have internet.
You know, it reminded me of when I went away to the Army and I come back and my family had moved and they didn't tell me. And that's just it. I showed up to work and there was nobody there. I'm like, dang on it, it got me again.
Yeah, I mean, I was definitely, it was unfortunate. It was unfortunate, that's for sure. It gave me some time to reflect, and I felt bad for sure. But here we are. The show must go on as we are here at New Hampshire. Let's take a look at some of the race facts here for tonight's event. And, of course, this being the, I do believe, Goody's 200. I'll tell you, they picked the appropriate sponsor here for tonight for, I'm sure, a lot of these drivers are going to be feeling they're going to need a Goody's after this race because this is a tough track. This is one of the toughest tracks, I think, that we're going to see on the schedule, especially when it comes to technicality. These guys are going to have to be very technical with how they apply the gas and brake here tonight. And, of course, shifting might be as well a feature that some guys might have, just considering depending on what setup they have. Of course, this is a 200-mile race, 188 laps that we're going to see here tonight. Stages are 40 and 85. 5 sets of tires, going to be 4 actually down in the pits. Tires are going to mean quite a bit here tonight, I do believe. Fuel window, 90 laps, so quite a long run that these guys will be able to make it here. I do believe, if I'm not mistaken, they will have to still pit in that final stage, but it's going to be close. 90 laps, that's quite a long run these guys can make. So if we have a caution early in stage 3, that could really change things quite a bit. Of course, I do want to take a look at the point standings coming into tonight's race. Of course, Matt DeCiani was able to win, I do believe, last week at Atlanta. I wasn't here for it, but I did hear about it. And, of course, he able to get continue with the points lead here. He is now 5 points up on Patrick Gitter. Of course, second place is Patrick Gitter with 1 win on the season. Third place, Brandon Pasalacqua. He is now 34 points back from our points leader. Fourth place, Josh Schaffner. Fifth place, Brian Johnson. Sixth place, Shane Parrish. Seventh, Greg Wachinski. Eighth, Stephen Thompson. Ninth, Greg Carr, and Kenny Powell rounds out the top 10 here. Of course, let's look at the overall more all-encompassing Super Cup point season. Now, of course, this is a different picture than the Cup Series points. Brandon Pasalacqua was out in front in this one here. He's got about a 43 points lead over Brian Johnson. Of course, Josh Schaffner sits in third. Fourth place, Matt DeCiani. He has 4 wins this season. That is just enough now to tie Patrick Gitter for all-time wins this season. Fifth place, Kenny Powell. Sixth place, Scott Naslin. Seventh place, Greg Wachinski. Eighth, Shane Parrish. And, of course, who we just talked about, 4 wins, Patrick Gitter. He is still 236 points back from the points lead. And, of course, Chris Johnson is in 10th. I don't believe we're going to see we haven't seen a whole lot of Chris Johnson here as of late, so I don't think we're going to see him tonight as well. But what are your thoughts about New Hampshire, Big Al?
Sure glad I'm sitting up here instead of down there. How about that?
Yeah, that's for sure. I guess that's a good point.
That about sums it up for me, Brian. Back to you.
Yeah, I mean, this is a tough track. I mean, this is what I mentioned before about it being very technical. I mean, you're going to have to really be very wary when it comes to getting off of these corners. I mean, when it comes to applying the throttle. One of the things I've heard a lot this week is you can't think of it like an on and off switch when it comes to getting back to the gas, Big Al. That you have to really be progressive and gradual when it comes to application of that throttle. But definitely going to be brakes also. Going to have to be careful there. I know a lot of drivers have been struggling also with loose under braking on the entrance. From what I've heard, the braking zone for the most drivers is between the 3 and 2 markers. That is one good thing about this track, that there are reference points to where you can know your braking zones. Of course, this is some very long straightaways here at this racetrack. I do want to mention also, I do believe this is actually the track that Adam Petty lost his life due to a hung throttle. So, and a lot of times, this track is quite dangerous. I mean, it's slow, low-speed corners, very high-speed straightaways, though, Big Al. As I do believe, do qualifying is starting to wrap up. Any a little last thought there before we go to the national anthem?
No, sir. Let's get it done.
All righty, sounds like a plan. I'm glad to be back in action here. We'll go ahead and take a brief step away. We'll be right back with some racing, or should I say the starting grid.
Oh, say, can you see by the dawn's early light what so proudly we hailed at the twilight's last gleaming, whose broad stripes and bright stars through the perilous fight o'er the ramparts we watched were so gallantly streaming, and the rockets' red glare, the bombs bursting in air, gave proof through the night that our flag was still there. Oh, say does that star-spangled banner yet wave o'er the land of the free and the home of the brave.
Race fans, it is time for those most famous words in motorsports.
Drivers, start your engines!
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn, the acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I'm so comfortable, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
Ow. Ew. Ow. Ew.
Want relief from tough pain without the tough taste? Try Goody's Cool Orange. Goody's fast, Goody's delicious. Because pain relief shouldn't be a pain to take. Goody's flavors, taking the pain out of pain relief.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Thursday Cup Series. We do have the points, or should I say the starting grid here ready to go. And, of course, Shane Parrish going to be starting on the pole. Patrick Gitter is going to be starting in second place. Third place going to be Brandon Pasalacqua with Kendall Levron starting in fourth place. Fifth place, Josh Schaffner. Sixth place, J.C. Evans. 7th place, Kevin Zaziak. Brian Johnson in 8th. 9th place, Charles Joplin. And, of course, Randy Belk rounds out the top 10.
Frank Flores is going to be in 11th with Greg Wachinski in 12th. Cody Colley starts off in 13th. He's got Stephen Thompson in 14th. Alexander Carr, 15th. Greg Carr, I believe that's uncle and nephew there, going to be in 16th. Kenny Powell, 17th. Jeffrey Ford in 18th. 19th shows us Al Kozlowski with Paul Olsen rounding out the top 20.
And, of course, Ryan Strunk's going to be starting in 21st with Greg Newsom in 22nd. And I do believe that is it. A 22-car field here tonight. And it looks like we're rolling. How about it?
Pretty good numbers.
Yeah, for sure. Greg Newsom, I think he must be a newer driver. I don't think I've seen him before. Unless he was here last week. I'm not sure. I was not here last week. I hate to keep mentioning that. But I'll tell you what, we're going to look to the future. Racing is getting ready to happen here tonight at New Hampshire. I know I'm excited. That's, of course, Shane Parrish. He has been the one that has been the best on the long runs from what we have seen in recent memory. I expect that is going to be the case here as well tonight. This could be when the 66 of Shane Parrish unlocks that door, Big Al, possibly.
You know, he's been denied a lot, Brian, so definitely if he could get himself up there tonight and grab a little pay dirt, I think it wouldn't hurt anybody in that camp. Lights off on the pace car. He's out and away.
Yep, here we go. Green flag out for the first time here as we start the Goodies 200. And already Patrick Gitter with a better restart than our leader. Well, should I say ex-leader? Can Parrish get it back? Look at this. Patrick Gitter really taking advantage. Heck of a launch there for him. He does secure lead. And now it leads into 3 and 4. But look at Shane Parrish. I don't think he's done with him quite yet. He's right on the back bumper there up to 21. Also Pasalacqua in the mix. We do see some side-by-side a little bit further back. I do believe J.C. Evans. See J.C. Evans right there battling, I do believe, with, you see Josh Schaffner. Evans, of course, has been looking really good here lately. I'll tell you that. Every time we see him out here on the racetrack, he's doing better and better.
Yeah, absolutely. A little bit of contact there between the 37 and the 89. The 89 car, Charles Joplin. Sorry, he's that.
Speaking of contact, you were just talking about the 89. Well, he just got clear to this, but it looks like I just saw Frank Flores have some contact with, if I'm not mistaken, the 84 of Cody Colley.
Yeah, that would be Frank Flores. Looks like he's got himself a shiny new paint scheme as well.
Yeah, a lot of things are happening out here on the racetrack. Double file racing there. You see Greg Wachinski. And, of course, I do believe he is battling right now with his teammate Kenny Powell. Now, this is pretty usual, pretty par for the course. We always see Wachinski and Powell battling each other, even though they're on the same team. Here comes the 37. And, of course, I do believe, who is that, the 37?
Ooh, 84 going to get down and low there. He got a little bit of contact there. I believe that was from the 67 of Stephen Thompson.
Yeah, I do believe I'm seeing the 37. That is actually, I do believe, the 17 of Kevin Zaziak. A little bit of a different. Oh, there goes Al Kozlowski around. Al Kozlowski around all by himself. Did he hit the inside wall? Let's take a look.
I wanted to be the center of attention. I don't think this is quite what he had in mind.
And I do believe this is by himself. I think he got loose on exit, which is going to be something we're going to see quite a lot here. Look at that right there. Right on the exit there of turn number 4. Right into the inside wall. Heavy hit to the front nose. He does live to fight another day, though.
Yep, not that meatball flag did not occur. Man, yeah, you were saying that the 37, which is what we're seeing, is actually being shown as the 17 of Kevin Zaziak. Just want to let everybody know that for the record.
Yeah, it does sometimes confuse me. Whenever I see 37, I'm like, where's the 37 at? And there is no 37. But, of course, take a look at the top 10. Patrick Gitter right now in first. Shane Parrish second. Pasalakwa third. LeVron in fourth. Schaffner fifth. Johnson sixth. Belt seventh. Evans in eighth. Choplin ninth. And, of course, Frank Flores is in 10th. That is the top 10 at the moment here. As, of course, Patrick Gitter took the lead on lap number 1.
Brian Johnson, though, thus far is our biggest mover, starting all the way back in 8th place. Now he's got himself up to 3rd.
Yeah, definitely a much better day, I'd say, than what he had, I do believe, at Chicago just a couple weeks ago. I'm not sure what his performance was like last week. That's the one bad thing about missing last week's race at Atlanta, Big Al.
I'm trying not to think about it, daggone it. You keep bringing it up.
I know. I'm sorry.
I mean, you had the kids that weekend. Don't rub it in my face what they did. I didn't get to see it.
And I keep looking. I'll tell you, Randy Belk, he's been a relatively newcomer, or at least been a part-timer here in the ISCA. He's running really good right now, up in 6th place, being chased by, of course, the Iceman, Josh Schaffner.
I think Josh prefers to be called the Corn Man.
Is that what he said?
Well, I just think that the Corn Man, you know, because even Keselowski kind of hinted that someone else was the Iceman, and I guess, you know, maybe it's just not yet time.
Maybe he wants to be the Iceman, and he just wants to try to take that name from Josh. I mean, you're the one that coined that term for Josh Schaffner.
It hasn't quite yet stuck, so we'll call him the Corn Man for now.
Tell you what, Kendall LeVron looking really good tonight, sitting in that 4th place position right now. Not too far back from him is, I do believe, Brian Johnson, who you mentioned not long ago. But Patrick Gitter now out to 0.8 of a second. 11 laps in. Let's see what fall-offs.
Definitely good to see Kendall LeVron back in action. Seems like he's been on a little bit of a hiatus from him. We hadn't actually got to see him run around here. So, welcome back, Kendall.
Yeah, for sure. Looking at lap times right now, everybody pretty much in the top 3, hitting very, very almost identical laps right now. The fastest, though, on the racetrack was Brandon Pasalakwa. So watch out for that 6 machine. He is actually caught up and has been really putting a lot of pressure there on Shane Parrish. Like I said before, though, I don't think that Shane Parrish has shown his full hand, though, Big Al. He's always good on the long runs.
Speaking of the long run, here comes Frank Flores. He's going to be to the inside of the 89. That's Charles Joplin. Joplin's doing the best he can here to fend off the position. That battle's going to be for what is 9th place.
And you also see, I do believe, Stephen Thompson getting closer and closer as well to Frank Flores. A lot of guys starting to, you can see fall off starting to loom on a lot of drivers. I'm looking at the 33 in general. Of course, this in 6th place, Randy Belk. Last time by 31.856. That's quite a bit off the pace compared to the guys around him. But I definitely see what you're talking about. You see Frank Flores. He is looking for any pathway to try to get around Charles Joplin. He's another one we talked about, J.C. Evans, who has been like doing better and better as we watch him. Frank Flores is another one that's like that. It's not for lack of trying. This guy is always trying to better himself. He's always putting in the time and the effort.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, he's far from a slouch, Brian, by the way, you know.
Yeah, 100%. Definitely not a slouch at all.
It just speaks to the sheer volume of talent that's assembled here in the ISCA. And we talk about that week in and week out, but it is really rare that you get to see this many drivers running around and be as proficient as. And I'll tell you what, because here's the reason. I have not raced this week. I'm scared poopless because, I mean, it's New Hampshire, and you won't get more than 10 laps in without there being a caution. But here we are on lap 16, And it's been clean green. These guys probably haven't had 16 caution-free laps to test their equipment outside of practice. I don't know where else you would get it, but here you come here on Thursday night, and this is, I mean, I'm a little bit speechless. I'm just kind of looking all around, trying to see where it's going to come. Aside from a self-spin or self-inflicted wound there from Al Keselowski, we really haven't had it happen just yet.
No, you're right, and I have heard that. A lot of guys have been talking about that. The official races this week have just been nothing but a pain to run. You know, you don't get any green runs. There's been caution after caution after caution. But ISCA, we've seen that time and time again. It has been the difference that we're, you know, a lot of times we see these races do go green. These guys are able to really race each other with a lot more respect, considering they race each other every week, where you have a lot less, I guess, a lot more unpredictability when it comes to the officials.
But we're going to back to the race. But is it more than that though? That's what I'm starting to wonder, because even if you're in the top split, those guys will still play with caution. So what is it that makes these guys drive so much better than any other assembly that you're going to run across? That's what I'm trying to figure out.
Yeah, I'm not quite sure. What is the variable in the equation? That is, I think that's gonna be tough to figure out. I mean, I don't know. I think it's just because, I mean, the talent level in this series is what you'd probably find in a top split race. And you're right. A lot of times the top split races can be more chaotic than the bottom.
I mean,
so what is the difference? Yeah. Maybe it's Kenny Powell. I don't know.
Well, I think these guys make each other better. I mean, I think that's exactly what we're seeing. I mean, the talent level here is just that. These guys make each other better. And you don't want to be that guy, you know. So hats off to the drivers here tonight, man, that are keeping this thing clean and green. Hadn't seen it anywhere else in any shape or form, digitally or otherwise, in New Hampshire. But way to go. This Pabst Blue Ribbons for you, because that's what's in my hand.
Yeah, also, I do believe we saw a change in position. You talked about Brian Johnson being the biggest mover. He just moved up into, I do believe, 4th place. He's gotten by the Team Watson Racing Setups, Kendall LeVron. Of course, LeVron trying to see if he can't hold on to, of course, the back bumper of Brian Johnson. You see Randy Belt. I talked about him. He looked like he was struggling. Lap time-wise, he was off the pace quite a bit, but I think he's gotten himself back into the groove.
Yeah, I think he has fixed the hitch that was in his giddy up.
Yeah, because his lap times are a lot better right now. He's pulling away a little bit from Josh Schaffner here. He's catching up to LeVron. I think LeVron might be starting to struggle here. So we're 22 laps in. Now, of course, keep in mind, Stage 1 will conclude on lap 40 to 41. So we are just a little over halfway through Stage 1.
Just a little over halfway, and this is about the, I don't know what is tire wear here at New Hampshire. That's the one thing that I don't think anybody truly knows, because I don't think anybody's had the luxury of actually running a set of tires completely out. These guys will definitely be collecting that data, and as we get to the end of Stage 1, be interested to see if that causes them to make any adjustments.
Yeah, that's a good point. I mean, we just talked about how the officials haven't been really running green, that they haven't had an opportunity to really see what the tire life will look like. So that does kind of make a little bit of a sense of the unknown here for a lot of these drivers. And I think we're going to really see what that limit is. Now, I am seeing that we are seeing fall off here. It just depends on who you are, I guess. I mean, Patrick Gitter, he seems like he's got the best car right now on the longer run. Now, we've seen, of course, Shane Parrish be better on the longer runs a lot of times than even Patrick Gitter, which is saying something. Patrick Gitter is no slouch. He has been really in competition. And when we talk about those top split SOF races at the beginning of the week that have sometimes 5,000 strength of field, Patrick Gitter's usually in contention to win those races. So when you got a guy like Shane Parrish who's coming up here and starting to track him back down, that's really saying something.
Yeah, absolutely. And the fall off is actually real. It's something that's tangible, and these guys are definitely starting to feel that as well, Brian.
Yeah, that they are, for sure. And we're seeing, of course, the group is starting to spread out a little bit. We are seeing some battling a little further back. I'm seeing Kenny Powell. He's caught up to Frank Flores now to the inside. Oh, that was close. Powell almost got into Frank Flores. This is going to open the door for Stephen Thompson. Thompson to the
out.
inside. This could be a big deal right here. Ooh.
It was a big deal because right now the frustration is Flores. He's not being able to get around the 89 of Charles Joplin. So now Kenny Powell comes up and he's going to feed on Flores and ends up being a little snack himself. So that just shows you, even if you're running practice laps, it's still hard because in a practice session, you still control the line that you're running. When you're in a race like this, it takes laps to set up a pass. So you're constantly probing and trying to get in and low and trying to figure out which way is going to be the fastest way to get around the guy. So I think a lot of guys are in foreign territory right now, Brian.
Yeah, and I'm looking through the gyro camera here of Frank Flores. We're talking about him trying to get by Charles Joplin. He's actually shifting. Down in the corners, he's in 4th gear. In the straightaway, he goes up to 5th gear. This is a tough track to pass at as well. You could hear just the way he's getting back to the throttle that he does not have that car completely sealed to the ground whenever he's trying to get off the corner. The corners here, or exits, is really the danger zone at a track like this. You have to be gradual when it comes to your throttle application. You can clearly hear that with the sound of the engine there, Frank.
Yeah, absolutely. And one thing, too, totally lost my train of thought.
Definitely the battle is heating up there for that 8th, 9th, and 10th position. Even Kenny Powell, of course, adding on to it in 11th place. There's kind of a train of cars here right behind J.C. Evans. So Evans is going to be under fire here from the 89, from the 8, from the 24, of course, the 67 and the 5. They're all in a line here.
Oh, yeah, and what I was going to say is I believe everybody down there is shifting or not shifting. The problem is a lot of guys have been trying to figure out the fastest way around this track. And sometimes, some guys are going to try to, I've heard some guys clutched it to get around, but it's going to involve shifting. I think you'll be surprised at the amount of guys that are actually ripping the gears.
Yeah, no, I think it's definitely, there's two schools of thoughts here. I think that shifting, is the faster way around this place to get the max power out of the engine. But I think you could change the. Ooh, there goes J.C. Evans getting sideways in front of Charles Joplin. That is going to change a lot there as Joplin now goes up to the 8th place position. But what I was going to say is I think that shifting can cause premature tire wear, though, because it kind of can make your wheel spin a little bit more, especially on the exits of the corners. When you're applying more gas, or when you're applying more, I should say, RPM and power to the pavement, that can cause premature tire wear.
Power to the pavement. Sorry.
But J.C. Evans now struggling to try to recover here. He is now side by side with the 67 of Stephen Thompson. Of course, Kenny Powell has made his way for the first time into the top 10. Here comes Thompson trying to get the pass completed there. The 9 getting loose in the center of 3 and 4, just able to recover. He now loses the spot back to, or gives the spot up to Greg Wachinski. So now he is back to 13th.
I think that's more of a story about the 9 getting out of line. And the whole thing is he didn't want to lose a ton of momentum. He didn't want to lose a bunch of spots. These guys started this thing all the way up in 6th place. The end of the stage is near. So he's trying to do everything he could to try to salvage at least some stage points, though. I don't think that's going to be a possibility for him now as he's all the way back in 13th.
Also have a little bit of a battle here developing, I do believe, between Alexander Carr and the 84 of Cody Kelly, or Collie, I should say. You see Carr trying to get underneath this 84 machine, not quite able to get there. Alexander Carr, another driver we've seen really develop and grow as the season has progressed.
Yeah, and where's the 25s? I try to watch it always to see where those two guys are relative to each other.
Yeah, I do believe Greg Carr in danger of possibly going a lap down here eventually. I know Greg Newsom is going to be possibly going a lap down here very shortly. As you see Patrick Gitter catching up to Mr. Newsom. Of course, Newsom in the 127. I'll look through the gyro camera here. You can see that 127 out of the front windshield of Patrick Gitter. So you can tell the 127 definitely struggling here as we come close to 5 laps to go in stage number 1.
5 laps to go in stage number 1, and the 82 of Jeffrey Ford is down on pit road. Not sure what's going on right now. Maybe this is a schedule stop. Unfortunately, I think he is out of the car, Brian. Nope.
Yeah, I don't think this is a scheduled stop. He's now 2 laps down. I think he might just be struggling to find the handling there.
So it appears he's short pitting the stage.
I don't know. I don't think that's a good idea, just considering, like I say, he's 2 laps down. Even if he short pits the stage, he is not going to get any advantage for doing that. So if he is doing that, it is not well recommended, and he is going to suffer, I do believe, because of it, and not going to be rewarded. That's what I'm trying to say.
Sometimes you just got to go.
So I feel like he's doing it because he just doesn't have a good handle on the car. Oh, Greg Carr with some issues.
25. I think he just ran into the 82 when the 82 was coming off of pit road. Might want to go back and take a closer look at that.
Caution is out.
It's going to be a premature caution, to say the least, Brian, because I think that might possibly end the stage, or it will be a green and white checker.
Yeah, I do believe that. I think that might end the stage. We'll have to wait and see if the green flag comes out before lap 40. But, yeah, looking at the 25 here, he came up on the 42, and I do believe the 25 actually got loose off the corner. The 42 didn't do anything wrong.
Yeah, the 82 is just an unfortunate – he just got sucked up.
Yeah, the 82, my mistake.
Oh, I'm sorry. Did I correct you?
No, it's fine. You corrected me rightly because I said 42.
Man, but now that's going to change a lot of people's strategies. And I'm going to tell you, there was a lot of guys that were on the ropes right there, and they were waiting on that standing 8 count, if you will, because, I mean, look, it is what it is. So be interesting to see. But that is going to end stage 1. You want to run the order.
Sure thing. Of course, Patrick Gitter going to be your stage 1 winner. Shane Parrish in 2nd place. Brandon Paslacqua in 3rd. Brian Johnson 4th. Josh Schaffner 5th. Randy Belk in 6th place. Kendall LeBron 7th. Frank Flores up to 8th, Charles Joplin in 9th, and Kenny Powell rounds out the top 10. Those will be the points-paying positions here. We're going to take a really brief step away, and we'll come right back, and we'll talk to Mr. Patrick Gitter.
Ow. Ew. Ow. Ew.
Want relief from tough pain without the tough taste? Try Goody's Cool Orange. Goody's fast, Goody's delicious, because pain relief shouldn't be a pain to take. Goody's flavors, taking the pain out of pain relief.
Gitter's here.
All righty, we are back, ladies and gentlemen. I do believe we have Patrick Gitter going to be joining us here in the booth, our stage 1 winner, if I'm not mistaken, because I do believe that caution froze the field, and I do believe that will complete stage 1. How's the car feeling, Patrick? Looks like it's feeling pretty good, considering you were pulling away from most of the drivers out there except for Shane Parrish.
So far so good. Into the run, a little loose. So just trying to manage that and saving tires as best I can early, just to kind of make it work at the end of the run there.
Well, we know that for the most part, the official races have not been very green, from what I've heard. So how does that change kind of the way you tackle a race like this? Because you know ISCA usually historically is a lot more greener than the officials. Did that make you kind of come at this a little differently, or?
Yeah, I mean, first off, Brian, you're totally right. I mean, this is a breath of fresh air compared to officials. Officials have been rough all week, so that's just a testament to the racing that we've got here in ISCA. But you're right, it takes a little bit different approach. There's a totally different pit strategy that comes into play, and you actually may want to consider saving your tires instead of in those officials where you get like 10 cautions and you never get a chance to wear them down.
Well, we definitely can't wait to see how that affects you for sure. It looks like you have definitely brought a really good race car. We'll have to see if you can make this your 5th win this season. Who can we give a shout-out to? It looks like the pace car lights are out. Who can we give a shout-out to?
Yeah, first off, EPI, Team Conti for the set this week. Did a great job. Martin PC, C12 Design Shop, my teammates, they've been a great help this week. Shout out to Shane for keeping it in P2 up here. The rest of the guys that are not far behind. And shout out to you guys for the broadcast. Nice work every week. Appreciate it.
All right. Well, thanks, Patrick. We'll see you. Good luck to you, brother.
All right, guys. Appreciate it.
Alrighty, that was Patrick Gitter, driver of the 21 machine EPI driver, of course. Definitely fantastic run so far here tonight as we get ready to start stage number 2. Of course, what's going to make this interesting is this is going to be a little bit of a longer stage considering we did have a premature end to stage 1. But here comes the pace car, going to be taking a left turn down pit road as we get ready to go green here. Does Shane Parrish do the same thing Gitter did to him in stage 1? And the green flag is out once again here. And a really good restart there from Patrick Gitter, able to jump up in front of the 66. Battle for the 3rd spot as Pasalacqua and Johnson go to battle here.
Looks like a really good restart for the entire field here. Top line trying to establish itself, but eventually these guys will blend into one. The good thing for Frank Flores, he's actually gotten around the 89. That's one thing that he's been trying to do here for the majority of the contest. Now he finds himself up into 7th place, up from 11. So we'll see if he'll be able to maintain that, Brian.
Tell you, I'm noticing a little bit of difficulties there from Brian Johnson. Got incredibly loose there on the exit of turn number 4. We see Josh Schaffner and I do believe Randy Belk battling at the moment for the 5th place position. And it looks like Schaffner has gotten that position secured.
Now, a lot of guys had to go back to the drawing board. They had to make some adjustments. Some guys probably, I don't think we had a lot of guys that were just so in love with their set. I think everybody made somewhat of an adjustment. Now, it's just a matter to see how these guys suck into that and how they meld into it with the car.
Yeah, I think you're right. I think a lot of guys had a big opportunity to make some adjustments to the race car. And they had a good 38 or so laps to figure out. Oh, Kenny Powell loose.
Kenny Powell! It looks like he pedaled through it, though, Brian. He's going to be okay. That's not going to do any favors for him in the long run, but he was actually able to keep that thing pointed in the right direction. And I'm going to tell you, that right there is driver skill, ladies and gentlemen. Nothing short of that.
Yeah, that definitely could have been a bad time there for Powell. Luckily, he was able to save it. Of course, he falls back quite a bit. I do believe back to 18th position now. As we now, I do believe, are coming up on 40 laps to go in stage number 2. Of course, this stage will conclude on 85 to 86, depending on it. Maybe we see a caution short in this one as well, but from what we've seen so far tonight, it's been relatively clean.
Yeah, and this track right here is driving, I think exceptionally well. I remember times past that we've come here. It's actually been more caution-ridden, but these guys so far tonight navigating around this track pretty clean here, Brian, making me just get all warm and fuzzy inside. This is definitely a trickier track to drive, but so far it looks like they're taming this piece tonight.
Yeah, they're making it look a lot easier than it actually is, that's for sure. As we see side by side here, Charles Joplin having to hold off Ryan Strunk. Strunk, we haven't talked a whole lot about him tonight, but it looks like he is trying to work his way up into the top 10. He is right on the edge of it right now in 11th position as he goes to the inside of the 89. Of course, Frank Flores looking like he's a little bit a little worse for wear right now, struggling on the colder tires. As he tries to hold off these guys. Go ahead.
Yeah, the 89's a bear to pass, and we saw that. Frank Flores experienced that, but here they are right there together with Ryan Strunk. I think this could be a point of tension, Brian. So if there was a good chance for caution tonight, I think you got it right here.
No, I think so. As you see, of course, the 77 and 89 still dueling it out as we look off of the rear chase camera of Frank Flores. These drones, I'll tell you, surprised they don't distract the race car drivers out here. I'll tell you, if I was out here on this racetrack and I had a drone sitting right in front of my car, I think I wouldn't be able to focus very good.
They can't see that.
I know, I'm just playing.
Oh, okay.
Wouldn't that be something if you when you were watching, out here driving, you had to see that thing flying around your windshield?
Yeah, that dude's get paid because he's doing better than the drivers are, I think, at that point.
Yeah.
He's right on the money.
See Greg Kuczynski's coming up. Yep, you got to have it. We missed it last week.
Hadn't had that in a minute.
We missed it last week. It's big loose condition there from Choplin. Man, these guys are definitely starting to get a little bit loose. I wonder if some of these guys made adjustments to loosen the cars up.
Well, that track tent was at 102 degrees earlier. Now I'm seeing it's at 117 degrees.
Wow.
So if you think about that, ambient air temperature is 82 degrees, and the winds out of the north at 9 miles an hour. So Yeah, it's getting it's a lot of things going on down here on the racetrack right now as we are in the heat of the day as well. So you definitely got to believe that hot, tacky track has a lot more to do with things that are going on than maybe we perceive.
No, that's definitely very hot. I'm surprised at how hot this New Hampshire track is right here, for sure. It's a wonder. I mean, that's got to have some bearing on the speed of the racetrack and also tire wear. But I'll tell you what, Shane Parrish has not left the back end of Patrick Gitter. He is still right there. So I do expect that it's going to probably stay that way. But one driver I think that has a little bit of room for improvement but has potential is Brandon Pasalacqua. I think that he's looking to come up here and dethrone some of these EPI guys.
Oh, yeah, absolutely. The EPI guys going to be trying to keep a close hold on that. Further back in the pack, though, Brian, right there with that 17 and the 89, it gets a little bit heated here because here comes Kenny Powell. He is battling back from all the way a spin. It took him all the way back to 18th position. Now he's caught up to Charles Joplin. Joplin's been a little bit hard to pass, I guess I could say easily. So here comes Kenny Powell. We'll be waiting to see how this one plays out.
Sounds like a Steven Seagal movie, Hard to Pass.
Oh, yeah, man.
As he is now on the inside, let's take a look through the cockpit here of Kenny Powell as he tries to get by the 89. Side by side into turn number 1. And it looks like Powell's going to get the pass completed. So good recovery from Kenny Powell, now up to 13th position. He, of course, did spin out, fell all the way back to 18th. He's now back up to 13th. You got to give him props for that.
And I tell you what, the 89 looks like he was loose as a goose coming out of the turns 3 and 4. So maybe that had something to do with it. Just interesting because these guys are all trying to figure this track out, man. There is no fast line. I overheard Josh Schaffner. That's right. I was an NSA agent last night. NSA. I was an NSA dude last night. And I overheard Josh Schaffner saying that he was kind of frustrated because he wasn't actually able to figure out, how does this thing work? And no one has the keys to the door, man. No one has the keys to the gate here, Brian. I think, well, maybe there's one guy, maybe there's a couple guys that have it figured out, but she's a tricky track.
No, I definitely think this is a hard place to figure out. I mean, there's so much nuance, I'd say subtle. It's very subtle on how you're supposed to drive this place. You talk about there's not really an exact line as well. I mean, this place has always kind of been historically a top to middle groove style racetrack. This next gen, though, I think a lot of drivers are finding a lot more success closer to the bottom of the racetrack. So I think that throws off a lot of these drivers as well. And you can see that Josh Schaffner right now is running around in that middle groove. But he's one that he never gives up.
The 67 goes around. He tries to lock it down into the wall. Don't think that's going to bring the caution out, but it's definitely going to make him squint just a little bit. Now he's backing up onto the track, still watching this thing, still green so far, and then there it is. He spins it out the second time, and that does bring the caution out for the first time here tonight, might we say, and we can really watch this one again because we saw exactly what happened now. With 30 laps to go in the stage, just under 30 laps to go in the stage, I'm wondering to see how this is going to affect a lot of these drivers' decisions.
You see right there, that was a fairly, I'd say, innocent spin. Nobody really hits him or anything like that. He doesn't hit the wall. That could have been a whole lot worse. Unfortunately, he spins it out again. That would have stayed green if he did not spin that second time. But either way, relatively tame.
I think he needed to spin all the way out there, right there, because that keeps him in the race.
Yeah, for sure. Now, I think you kind of mentioned something about a question on what is the decision here? Do you come down pit road? I mean, you've been out here for, let's say, about 18 laps, right? I mean, tire wear, is it significant enough, do you think, Big Al, to come down pit road?
The 127 is down and out. That's Greg Newsom. He was the driver that spun out. I think you're going to find out here pretty soon, Brian, because the bottom line is if you're mid-pack and you've got nothing to lose. So if your car's handling like crap, we'll know it because you will definitely risk it to come on down. But if you're up front, I think you're looking around and seeing what everybody else is doing.
Yeah, I think that's a good point. That's a good point for sure. Well, while we wait for the green flag to come back out, we're going to take a brief step away, pay some attention to our sponsors. We'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen, with some more action here in the Goodies 200.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms, from camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel comfortable, bro. We get a hug. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
We are back, ladies and gentlemen. Appreciate everybody joining us. Of course, my name is Brian Britt. Got Big Al still here in the booth with me. Of course, green flag getting ready to come back out once again. Pace car lights are out. We're on the back stretch. Patrick Gitter still out in the lead. Now, Big Al, did anybody pit here that last time by? Did anybody take that risk?
Don't look like we had any takers, Brian, which means everybody has got to be feeling pretty good. The 67 did come down. And also, we know that Greg Newsom was involved in that travesty, so that took him out of it. Pace car, lights are off, he's out of the way.
All righty, there we go. Pace car has dipped down pit road, and the green flag is back out once again here at New Hampshire. Another flawless restart there from Patrick Gitter. He jumps up in front of Shane Parrish. Still, the battle is on for that third position. I do believe Pasalacqua is going to clear Brian Johnson. Yes, he does. And it looks like Schaffner has cleared Randy Belk for the fifth place position. I think, watch out for Schaffner. This guy is going to be trying to make his car better all night long. Now, one thing about this track is, one of the adjustments that a lot of times a lot of guys, I think, sleep on, Big Al, is the brake bias. I think that's going to be an important one here tonight.
Yeah, definitely, because a lot of guys, because when you're kind of caught up in the mix, it kind of forces you to drive your car the way everybody else is driving. I mean, because either you figure that part out real quickly or you start to find yourself sliding backwards, and nobody wants to do that because it kind of creates a little bit of a traffic jam. We're over halfway in this stage right here, so that makes it a little bit tricky, but I think we got the mix of some pretty good racing that's going to come down here in the next 15 to 20 laps.
Well, the race is definitely heating up quite a bit here. Randy Belk and Josh Schaffner, a little bit of contact there. Schaffner, I think, just cut the 33, a little bit of a break. Oh, Kendall LeBron.
He has got the side he's going down, looking for the caution. Caution is out. That's going to be the second organic caution here tonight, Brian, outside of the stage break. And now this changes the dynamic even just a little bit more as we watch this instant replay.
And we'll watch this. I think LeBron just got a little loose on the exit there. Just a little bit. That's all it took. And he went up into the outside wall. And I think he had a little bit of help as well. Let's take a different viewpoint on this. Of course, you see Ryan Strunk there. And right there, he got a little bit of a wiggle there on the exit of turn 2.
Yep.
Whoa, look at Greg Wachinski, man. Wachinski had such a run. I want to see this on the Wachinski's viewpoint here. You see Greg Wachinski right here. Look at the run he gets out of turn 2 right here. It's like he shoots out of a cannon. He's part of the Red Sea right there.
And he kept his foot on the throttle. I mean, he kept his hammer down, and that's what he needed to do. If he would have checked up or deviated any little bit, it would have been a different story. So kudos to Greg Wachinski shooting in that 5 machine, giving him a 5-star rating here tonight, Brian.
Yeah, I mean that definitely could have went very differently for him. It gained him some positions as well. He's now up to, I do believe, 7th place.
Got ourselves a lucky dog. It looks like he's going to be traveling high around the outside. That's a 67 of Stephen Thompson, getting one of his laps back.
And, of course, this caution coming out. I do believe now we have coming up now to 20 laps to go. So we're going to have less than 20 to go when the green flag flies here again. Let's see. Do we have any takers for pit road? And it looks like...
I don't think so.
Nope, not yet.
And here's the reason why I say that is because these guys, this is the one thing they do know. They've done this enough this week to understand that, hey, look, if the caution comes out, we're not pitting. You know what I mean? The tires are going to be good enough. So no matter what happens, I think if the caution comes out, at least into that third and final stage, yeah, you're not going to have any takers unless some of these guys inadvertently might have smacked the wall or gotten a little contact with another car. But it's a short track. I mean, so short track, generally these cars are tanks.
Yeah, that's for sure. Usually, I mean, they have been in the past pretty much tanks. But I think a lot of that vulnerability has started to kind of fall away a little bit for these cars. I mean, they still are pretty tough, though. I'll give you that. But, I mean, the NASCAR Next Gen has, I'd say, weakened up a little bit. In a lot of ways, but I think they still are vulnerable at a track like this, especially with, I think, how high speed these straightaways are. But we haven't seen anybody really taken out of the race yet, though.
Yeah, I'm going to give a little credit. Roger. Sorry, I didn't mean to cut you off. But I'm going to give a little credit to the sim as well, because these guys are on the cutting edge, and they really do a really good job of simulating the damage that the real cars are facing from a dynamic standpoint. And look, if you're watching this thing and you've never got a chance to do iRacing, I'm going to tell you, it's unlike any other racing simulation that you're ever going to come across. I mean, it's truly amazing.
No, it definitely is. You're never going to get as close to real NASCAR as you see right here. This is, I mean, unless you strap into a real car, this is as close as you're going to get right here.
And these guys
you'll love to see it.
And these guys are from all over the United States right now. Lights off on the pace car. He's going to be down and away, and we'll be getting this thing kicked off again here, Brian.
That's right. Definitely looking forward to seeing what these guys can do. You can see that they're already getting themselves all pumped up and ready for the action here as the pace car dips down pit road. And we're going to be going back green once again here as we are looking to complete stage number 2. Patrick Gitter with another great restart there. Slides right up in front of Shane Parrish. Of course, Brandon Pasalacqua, almost like a machine here, jumps up into third.
I want to tell you, Randy Belk did not like the start that he got as he got pushed right up onto the back end of the 4-car, and there was no go. So now he's got Kenny Powell nibbling around his eggs as he tries to come on the inside of Ryan Strunk. 2x2 they go, Brian. I think this right here is going to be like a little soda pop getting shook up here on a Saturday afternoon. This is going to explode.
Yeah, I think it will. You see Ryan Strunk's throwing blocks right here, right now on the 33. They were very close to hitting each other. I think that this is not over yet. And Kenny Powell, you know he's got to be desperate to get as much track position as he can, considering he fell back all the way back to 18th and is now up into 7th. He's trying to get as many positions as he can here as he does move up, I do believe, past Belk. Side by side still is, I do believe, Greg Wachinski and Belk. Belk is starting to fall back. I think he's starting to struggle, maybe starting to get a little frustrated.
Well, depending on how well Kenny Powell perseveres and finishes this thing, he definitely gets the comeback award here tonight, because after that spin that really we thought, he kept it straight, kept it out of everything, kept it on those tires, kept it going. Now he's all the way back up in the 7th place. We're talking about you, Kenny. This, perhaps blue ribbons for you.
Belk looks like he is going to always almost was able to get clear. I think he does get clear here of Greg Wachinski. Wachinski, of course, trying to battle his way closer and closer to the front. Of course, I'll tell you, I've been really impressed with Ryan Strunk. Strunk has not really impressed earlier in this race, but he is now really starting to look good. He's up to 6th place. I mean, he's one of the biggest movers as well here tonight.
Explain it, because either you're impressed with Ryan Strunk or you're not. I mean, we know what Ryan Strunk's capable of, and here he is now coming by Josh Schaffner as Schaffner got into it with his G&G teammate Brian Johnson.
Well, no, I'm impressed with him. I'm just saying that earlier I didn't think he had the car. I don't know if he just wasn't showing his full hand and he's just waiting till now, but or maybe he's just been outside of the my perspective, and now he's showing up.
Or maybe it was just earlier.
Yeah, it was. It was definitely earlier. He wasn't. Oh! Now he's showing up for the wrong reason. Really loose off the corner there. So he is going to lose the spot to Schaffner, and here comes Kenny Powell.
Well, you called it. You cover it.
Can Powell get by here? I think Strunk might be driving it a little too hard, possibly. We've seen that from him before. But it looks like he is going to recover nicely. Can he continue to keep driving and recovering? I mean, I know that a lot of times when you slide the tires once, it happens again.
Okay, this is Jaws, and Strunk is not Jaws. So that's how this story's playing out. That's the way I see it. Or this is Piranha, and Strunk is not a Piranha.
Yeah, I think Strunk's trying to hang on for dear life. But like I said, once you slide the tires once, it's a lot more likely you're going to do it again. It's usually a bigger, I'd say, the cause and not the symptom.
And look at that racing groove. Looks like everybody is trying to get down low. And now him and Kenny Powell going to be battling side by side. And we've already established this is not the track to try to pass at. This is a very technical track with having the shift and downshift, and you listening to the other guy, trying to see when he's hitting those shift points, trying to make sure you can get the most RPMs without staggering it to get to the next. It's complicated. That's all I got.
Oh, it's very complicated. Just look on board with Randy Bell because, of course, this battle is still going on. I mean, it is taking several laps here for Kenny Powell to be able to possibly get this pass completed. And I don't know if he's going to be able to do it. I mean, Strunk has been able to keep the run going a little bit higher on the racetrack. Oh, it gets really close to the wall. That could be exactly what Kenny Powell needs here as we come, I do believe, to 9 laps to go in stage 2. And look at this. Here comes Belk trying to take advantage.
That's what I'm saying. Somebody's a fish, somebody's a piranha, somebody's a swimmer. Greg Wachinski now even trying to get his neck stuck in there, because I'm telling you, these are stage points that are on the line.
You see Belk getting a little bit tight underneath the 77. Maybe some contact. Belk getting tight. Whoa, barely able to avoid contact there, but I don't think we're out of the woods yet. Ooh.
Who's loving this? Kenny Powell, because he's driving on off in 6th place. The 77 is still going to be fighting. Greg Wachinski's going to be trying to come down. Is Ryan Strunk still trying to hold on and maintain his position so he can at least pick up a couple of stage points here. Tonight is stage 2, almost in the books. Looks like just 7 laps before stage 2 will be through.
Yeah, I'm looking at Strunk. He is loose. He is incredibly loose right now. You can just see the way that car is kind of yawed out. It seems like he's on edge every single corner he enters. And it looks like Greg Wachinski barely able to get by. This is not over yet. You see Ryan Strunk bump drafting almost Wachinski out of the corner here. Also, Alexander Carr in the backdrop almost spins out.
I'm sure Greg Wachinski's just loving that. I mean, right now he's like, yes, I want to subscribe to this guy's. I want to go to his page and give him a double like.
I don't know. Yeah. I think he's just glad to be by him. He's like, thank the Lord, I just got by that guy.
Bam! The 67 comes in hot, and he had to check up coming back off of his lucky dog performance here. Now,
recovery,
Frank Flores also up into the mix as these guys are all going to be trying to get around Ryan Strunk. Ryan Strunk just now slips by into 11th place. That takes him out of those stage point contention.
I'll tell you, man, it's crazy to see. You see Ryan Strunk, he drove his way all the way up to 6th place, and he is struggling, like really badly. Something is wrong with that car. It fires off really good short run wise, but it seems like it is just not behaving on the longer runs. You can see everybody and their mama is trying to get by him right now. As Frank Flores is going to get clear, and here comes the 67. And I do like, I do want to give the 67 some big props here. Was a lap down, has now recovered nicely. He's already up almost into top 10 again here. Nicely done.
Yeah, but think about what you're saying with 4 laps to go in the stage. Frank Flores finds himself in the catbird seat. He is currently holding that 10th position, that position against that one golden stage point, and he has to maintain that, Brian, if he wants to get it, because otherwise, he's on the cut line. You know what that means. And Ryan Strunk is right there trying to make him earn it, trying to make sure that he stays honest. Everybody else seems to be situated for this point, but this right here is probably the battle that we're going to be watching for the next 3 laps.
Yeah, you gotta know that Frank Flores right now is probably sweating. His heartbeat is probably as high as it's going to be here tonight. He's got the 77 all on his back door, and he's definitely worried, I'd say, at the moment, of course, because, the 77, even though he looked like he was struggling, I think he's starting to get a little bit of a second wind here. Look at this, the 17, also Kevin Zaziak. He's looking pretty good as well as he comes up to the back of the 67. Oh, he gets a little bit loose right in front of the 9 of J.C. Evans.
Speaking of getting loose, these guys are in the no man's territory because they have boldly gone where they have not been. This is the longest run they have done, the longest stint on tires thus far tonight. Coming down to just 2 laps to go in the stage. This is where the money's at, Brian.
Yeah, this is when the race is going to really begin here in just a moment. As it looks like, everybody pretty much settled in where they're going to finish at for the most part for this stage.
77 into the wall there.
That, of course, is going to allow the 67 of Stephen Thompson to get another position. I do believe that puts him up into 11th position.
He's got to be feeling pretty good about that shot, Brian, as he was the lucky dog in this last stage. Ryan Strunk's going to come down low. He's just doing what he can now to finish this stage. Sorry, not Ryan Strunk, but the 37 or the 17, rather, of Kevin Zosiak.
And here we go. Do believe Patrick Gitter going to be crossing the start-finish line here in just a moment as your Stage 2 winner. Of course, he has now swept both stages. Yellow flag is out. Shane Parrish in 2nd place. Brandon Ponsalacqua 3rd. Brian Johnson in 4th place. Josh Schaffner 5th. Kenny Powell in 6th. Randy Belk in 7th. 8th place Greg Wachinski. 9th Charles Joplin. And, of course, rounding out our top 10 is Frank Flores. And that is the stage points there for the top 10. We're going to go ahead and take another brief step away. We'll be right back with whoever Big Al wants to talk to.
Ow. Ew. Ow. Ew.
Want relief from tough pain without the tough taste? Try Goody's Cool Orange. Goody's fast, Goody's delicious. Because pain relief shouldn't be a pain to take. Goody's flavors, taking the pain out of pain relief.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, we're having our pit stops here during Stage 2's caution. And look at that. What a job from Stephen Thompson. I'm wondering, he just gained a ton of track position. I think he might have just had a 2-tire stop. But I do believe we're joined in the booth by Big Al's guest. Big Al, take it away.
Kendall Vaughn, Big Al up in the booth. You got me.
10-4, I got you, buddy.
Definitely been watching you here tonight, man. Strong run. You guys started this thing up in fourth place. Had a little bit of an unfortunate incident, we'll call that. So my question is, what's it going to take to get you guys back up into the run, and what's your overall opinion of the racetrack tonight?
Well, first things first is not make mistakes, because I just got caught speeding in pit road. And just work my way through the field and get track positions through pit stops. That's all I can do so far. And avoid all the wrecks and carnage and not get caught up what I got caught up in the last caution.
So how's this race running for you guys? Because I'm assuming you're having more green flag runs out here. Is your setup where you think you need it to be?
I just made some adjustments to tighten it up, hoping it works in the long run. But for some reason right now, I'm dealing with the car sliding and getting loose coming out the corner. I'm doing whatever I can to wheel the thing so I don't get turned or turn myself in front of people. But it is what it is. This is a tricky track. It's a driver's track. You got to deal with the looseness coming out of the corners and all that stuff. But just trying to figure out what I can do to fight that to where I can actually make it up to the front again.
Yeah, so and I understand that, and I'm not. I mean, this is an interview, but the question is that I'm going to ask you next. So having to battle all of the demons that you got going on that are in your lap in your car, and then you throw in passing. I mean, so this has got to be pretty unnerving here, I would imagine.
Yeah, it's really hard to pass and all the stuff that's throwing into my lap, but just keep on fighting and keep moving forward. That's all I can do. And sometimes, hey, old school way. Sometimes you gotta get the chrome bumper if someone's in your way.
Roger that, bud. Thank you for your time here. Who are you going to shout out here before we let you go real quick?
Oh, shout out to Team Watson Racing, Warrior Raps, and M&S Sports. Great, good sponsors. All my friends, family watching, and shout out to y'all in the booth for putting it up, man.
Roger that. Good luck to you.
10-4.
Alrighty, that was Kendall LeBron. Of course, the pace car lights are out. It looks like we're going to be getting green very soon here. Pace car is down pit road. Keep in mind, the 67 is on old tires. Spent 6 seconds in the box. Green flag back out here. I'd keep an eye on this 67. Looks like he definitely did not get going on the restart. Pasalaco going to try to take advantage of it. I was looking at the time. I'm wondering, did he take... Oh, there he goes around in front of the field. Charles Joplin with some front nose damage there. And that's going to bring the caution out.
And this is what I was going to say, Brian, and I'm going to say this, and yeah, I'm going to say it. The 67 did not get in front of the field because he raced this way there. He got in the front of the field because he took a gamble. And unfortunately, his gamble has just cost a lot of other drivers their night.
Yeah, that's for sure. I think that that was just a little bit of a bad move there for him. And look, he got loose. I mean, he got loose on the older tires. I mean, I can understand why you would take 2 tires. This is not the track to do it, though. I think that other tracks you could do it and get away with it, but this is not one of those tracks.
This isn't the time or place, and it's not your race. You just cost other people their race.
Let's take a look back at this from a little bit of a different perspective, and you can see that he gets loose, and I do believe some contact ensues from Brian Johnson there. Kenny Powell able to scoot through. Charles Joplin, though, does get some front nose damage. At least it wasn't. It could have been a lot worse. There wasn't any race-ending contact, I do not believe. And I think the 67 just learned a valuable lesson on not taking.
Look,
he needs to take tires next time.
But here, I'm in the booth, and I got to say this. I mean, we're entering the longest run of the night.
Yeah, that was not the time to not take tires.
To get up, I mean, what do you? I don't know. I mean, maybe I'm auditioning for a crew chief position or something here, but man, whoever made that call, wrong call.
No, I agree. I agree totally. I think that was the worst time you could do that. I mean, especially when, like you said, you're starting the longest stage of the race. 3rd stage. I mean, it's almost a 100-lap stage, right? I mean, why would you make that decision right then? I think if you're going to make a call like that, you make it with like maybe 20 to go or something like that. You know what I mean? I don't think you do that when you have still about 100 laps to go.
Not if you want to have any, a friends list. There is a friends list in iRacing as well, and you got to have iRacing in order to get into this. That's not the way to get friend requests.
No, not at all. That's for sure.
Yeah, and I hate to be so negative, but here we are talking about the caliber of the drivers and yada yada yada, and I don't even know who's driving the 67.
I mean, I think that Stephen Thompson. Now the thing is, like, if I think on his own right, he was making his way through the field. He was doing a good job. I mean, he had recovered from being a lap down. He was on the edge of the top 10. I mean, he was already doing a good enough job. I guess he just got greedy. And
it wasn't a green flag pit stop. You take all the time you need. There's a caution out. I mean, the track position is not that big of a deal. We're going to have to do this at least one more time before this is over. I don't understand the process.
Yeah. No, I mean, I get it. Like I said, I just think he got a little greedy there. And unfortunately, he lost all of the position he gained. Now it's back in 19th. So hopefully Brian Johnson didn't get too much damage out there. Hopefully Charles Joplin's going to live to fight another day. And, of course, I do believe the pace car lights should be, yep, they are out now. So we're going to be going back green once again here. And let's see if we can get us a good green run and have some green flag pit stops. I know that's one thing you love, Big Al.
Yep.
Here we are, filing on to the backstretch. Patrick Gitter has been the most dominant driver so far here tonight by far. He has led, I do believe, every single lane.
And I want to apologize to all of the fans out here. And I mean nothing, no disrespect to the 67 car. I was just taking my frustrations out if I were a driver in this situation. So maybe not the analyst position to take. So for that, I apologize.
No, I mean, I get exactly what you're saying. If I was a driver out there, I'd be just as frustrated with him. I would be very upset.
But I'm here as an analyst, not a driver.
And there is the green flag. We're back green once again here as we have less than 100 laps to go. Patrick Gitter with another fantastic restart. And already Kenny Powell, look at that, up to 4th place. Powell's looking really good here tonight. After his mistake, he has really just been on the money with every decision he's been making up into now the top 5.
Yeah, definitely. I'd be feeling
Powell,
good about
Kenny, my PayPal is.
Yeah, I'd be feeling good about the recovery that is made because now it's race time. And the big thing right now for these drivers, they got to try to settle into a rhythm. They know that there's tire wear. They know it exists. Don't burn them up early, guys. You got to be able to make this. Oh, shut up. Yeah, it's going to be some great racing that's going to ensue here.
Now look at that. Greg Wychinski now moving up to the 7th position. He gets by Charles Joplin. Here comes Randy Belk to the inside of the 89. I don't think Joplin is done yet. He moves up to the top to try to get a run here on Greg Wychinski. Not quite able to get there.
And Brian, it's going to be interesting to see how many of these guys are going to battle for track position because I think that's pretty important as well. From the drivers we talked to, you talked to Patrick Gitter, who swept both the first 2 stages. I talked to somebody who has been kind of in the back and up front, Greg Wychinski down low. Going to watch how this reintegrates, but it could get tricky as well.
I think he just got loose. Something definitely did not go right there in that Monster Energy 5. And he loses the position he gained on Charles Joplin. Now falls back and possibly he could even lose the position.
3 wide right there.
Wide.
That's gonna be tricky. And nobody wants to hear that at New Hampshire, ladies and gentlemen.
Not in the slightest. Look at this. You see Ryan, of course, Strunk trying to work his way back forward. And you talk to Kendall LeVron, he's doing a good job to work his way forward here, that 28 machine.
And I was curious because he'd been up front and then he had been in the back, and I just wanted to know what the balance was, man. How's everybody holding up? Because it looks totally different from where we're sitting. But when you're down there, just like watching the 77 and Ryan Strunk, he's giving everybody it's these guys are at work.
They're at war. It looks like to me. They're in battle right now because, they're giving each other a hard time, I'd say.
But they're giving us a great show.
Oh, they definitely are. This has been nothing but exciting here. I don't think we've seen the last yellow flag, though, here tonight.
But kudos to those G&G guys right now sitting third, fourth, and fifth behind Shane Parrish and Patrick Gitter. Gitter is once again getting her done. He has swept the first two stages. This being the longest of the stages so far. This is that third and final stage. And hopefully, Brian, if everybody is nice and pays their taxes, because that's the key thing. You got to pay your taxes. We might have a shot at some green flag pit stops.
Yeah, for sure. And we talked about the fuel window. It's actually open right now. It's 90 laps that you can make it on fuel, but I think tires are going to be the name of the game here. I think that these guys are going to try to split this run in half here, so I expect probably pit stops will probably occur around 130, maybe 125, somewhere in there, I think is when I expect to possibly see green flag stops. Or maybe some guys are going to go try to run it long. We'll have to wait and see how that kind of works out. I mean, we talked about it before. Even Patrick Gitter said himself that the A Opens, the official races, have not gone green, that they have not really had the opportunity, I think, to make a green flag stop in those races. So I think a lot of these guys are in the dark. I think that it's a mystery on what is going to work strategy-wise.
Well, I'll tell you what. We know that long runs have not been the staple of anybody's diet here tonight. People struggle when the runs get longer. So that's what I'm waiting to see. I'm waiting to see exactly how well they do, bounce back. How well they do persevere. Is everybody saving tires or guys out there going? Because it's going to turn around to see who's going to be there once we get to be about lap, 186. That's when I'm going to be waiting to see what's going on. Beautiful skins that we're seeing out there tonight right there, Brian. What was the one before that?
That's, of course, J.C. Evans, I do believe.
Right, yep.
Of course, I think he's had this paint scheme for quite a while, and, of course, I think it's in remembrance of someone close to him. I think it's a Braden McDonald. So definitely give that a shout-out there for sure.
Yeah, absolutely. Good luck to him tonight in his quest to try to get that thing at least on the podium. Hopefully he can bring it home in winner's circle.
Yeah, I think the days it's gonna happen one day. I'll tell you, for J.C. Evans, and I'll tell you even more so for a Shane Parrish. I thought this was gonna be the race. I mean, he qualified on the pole. I don't see why he would let Patrick Gitter pass him there. I mean, he just track position's important here. Clean air is key at a track like this, and I think that Parrish, made a mistake by giving Patrick Gitter that lead on the first lap, because he's led every one of them since then.
He's getting it done.
He always does. He always does. I mean, Patrick Gitter, always a great driver. And you know what I'm shocked to see? The points leader in the Cup Series, not out here. Matt DeCiani, where is he at? Paging Matt DeCiani, you won at Atlanta. You won at the Chicago Street Course. Where are you?
Well, maybe, this would be the track to take a provisional if I had one. I'm just saying because
I'd take one at Chicago. I wouldn't be. I would. You catch me dead at Chicago Street Course.
Well, that's in his wheelhouse, though. He loves that. So I totally get it. Yeah, I wouldn't expect to see you in Chicago anyway. You're a South Carolina guy. South Carolina guys don't need to go to Chicago. We'll establish that now. There's places that Chicagoans and South Carolinians don't need to go, and that's where each other are at. I can't think of the English. I'm sorry. It's different. If you've been to both, it's just way different in South Carolina than it is in Chicago.
I'm sure it is. It's probably way different.
Yeah.
And look at this. Battle starting to heat up a little bit. Greg Wachinski trying to recover. He was up into, I do believe, the 7th place position, now trying to get back there, as he is in 10th at the moment, right behind J.C. Evans. Also, Alexander Carr, he's in the best position I think he's been in all race long. He's in that 11th spot. Looking pretty good. I think he's getting used to it.
Started back in 14th. Hey, look, I'm your biggest fan, little buddy. I just hope you can keep it together, and hopefully we'll get this thing to work out for us. Maybe bring this thing home, get us some good biscuits tonight with some meat in there. That's what we need. That's what we're looking for here.
Oh, yeah. That's what these guys are all racing for, to get themselves a nice big old plate of some buttery biscuits.
With some meat in there. It's great to have biscuits, but it's even better with biscuits with bacon or sausage, ham.
Yeah, sausage, egg, and cheese all day.
There you go. I like sausage with grape jelly on my biscuits.
Hey, that don't sound too bad. You're making me hungry, man. We got to get back to the race.
Speaking of the racing, Kenny Powell making it happen all the way back up to 4th place. He fell all the way back to 18th. Now he has battled all the way back, which is really good for him. Greg Wachinski is getting, I mean, he has right now got his hands full as he's got J.C. Evans going to be chomping at the bit on his review.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, Greg Wachinski just got by Evans. Evans, of course, trying to get back there. But look at this. I mean, because of that battle there, you see Alexander Carr. We just talked about him. He is chomping at the bit on possibly getting up into the top 10. Also, you see Frank Flores trying to work on Ryan Strunk. Flores now side by side with the 77. Flores has been a top 10 car tonight, that's for sure.
Yeah, and he has had his hands full here as well, though, Brian, because it seems that he is always faster than the guy in front of him or around him, and he's just trying to get around him, and it's just so difficult to pass at this track.
Yeah, for sure. It seems like, you know, he's had track position earlier and was looking quick, but he just has a tough time passing, it seems like, in that 8 machine. But he's had speed. He's ran really good. He's been really consistent, and I'm telling you, this guy, he's going to get some good finishes here as the season progresses. He's been really soaking up all the teaching that he can here from a lot of really, really talented drivers.
Absolutely. 75 laps to go in this battle that started tonight here at New Hampshire. Loudon, I believe, at 188 on the docket. Out of that 188, here we are. But, you know, surprisingly, Brian, not a lot of attrition here tonight, as I only believe we've lost Al Koslowski and Greg Newsom thus far.
Yeah, 20 guys still out on the racetrack and in competition. Only one car a lap down, I do believe, is Paul Olson. So glad to see Paul at least still in competition and hasn't given up. I think he actually just went 2 laps down. I think he just parked it as soon as we were just talking.
Well, you done run him off again.
I didn't mean to. We were just getting ready to talk about having 20 cars on the lead lap, and he just parked.
You done run him off.
Of course, Jeffrey Ford possibly going to be going a lap down here very soon as well.
Yeah, so the question is, we got Gitter and we got Parrish. Looks like Gitter has definitely got it dialed in tonight. But I'm thinking that the G&G guys, that Brandon Pasalaco, Kenny Powell, Brian Johnson, Josh Schaffner, these guys are not just 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th for no reason. You understand what I'm saying? I'm believing that not only do they have a plan, but I believe they're going to be contenders.
Yeah, I'd be curious to see what they could do here as we're now 29 laps into this run. And you mentioned it, about 70 laps to go here. So I think we still got a while until green flag stops kind of happen. Now, you mentioned that they have something like in the back pocket, a plan. What would your plan be? Short pitting, maybe? It seems like a track that could be a valid strategy.
Well, I think with 3rd, 4th, 5th, and 6th, I think my plan would be to get out together, to get in the pit together, and then make them pass all of us.
Yeah, because, I mean, we already know track position is so important, right? So, I mean, if you can get in front of them and make them work for it, you have a legit chance at taking the win from them.
Yeah, he might be faster than one G&G guy, but he's not going to be faster than all 4 if he has to go through traffic. We've seen that happen at this track, and drivers have the right to defend their position. There's nothing in the books that says you can't. So if you ask me directly what the strategy is, I think we come down, we get out front, and then we just stay out front.
Oh, caution is out on the racetrack.
Oh, that driver disconnected. I believe that was the 28. Kendall LeBron again.
Big accident there for him. And I do believe that was him and the 17 that got involved here.
Yeah, but that was mostly on him, man.
Oh, I don't know. That was an odd one right there.
Yeah, I mean, my heart goes out to him and his team right now. We're hoping that everything's okay. Because Brian would have
Medically, I'm
impact
hoping
like
he's
that.
okay. That was a hard lick.
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Medically, I mean, even though this is a simulation, that was a hard lick.
You see right there, he was loose in the center of the corner, and he just got loose right there. Came down on the 17, a little bit of net code, and that sent him way up into the wall, smashed the wall very hard. Let's take a look through the cockpit. I'm going to go ahead and give everybody a disclaimer. If you have issues with nausea, you might want to look away. You see right there, he's loose. He's trying to catch it. Trying to get back to the gas and just boom. Quite a spin he took there. And the engine does expire, so no wonder he took a tow. Now this changes everything. Everyone on pit road right now. Everyone taking tires, taking fuel. They are in the fuel window now, Big Al. This could, if we go green from here, be a really long run, and these guys would be able to make it to the end. This is going to be interesting here.
You know what I found? These cars go really good when they go forward and turn left. If you try to make them do anything other than that, if you deviate anything, it's like making chocolate chip cookies, but at some point, these guys want to put guacamole in there. And that doesn't work.
You just turned my stomach. Guacamole and chocolate chip cookies? What?
But I guess that's what I'm trying to use as an example of what happens when the caution comes out. It's all good and when everybody's going the right way using the ingredients. But whenever you do that one deviant thing, you see what happens. And now, there goes my green flag pit stops.
Yeah, I don't think we're going to see any green flag stops here. I think we have pretty much taken that out, as I do believe we have 66 laps to go here. This is going to be the longest run of the night, though. And I think we're going to get to see some tire wear be a significant issue. You can see Patrick Gitter already trying to warm the tires up. You always talk about it, Big Al, how big cold tires, how influential they could be. Cold tires versus old tires, your old saying, right?
Cold tires and old tires.
A lot of times cold tires can be more dangerous than old ones, that's for sure. As I do believe the pace car lights are going to be going off. Yep, this time by. And looks like Brian Johnson. Go ahead, I'm sorry.
It looks like everything just got interesting now.
Oh, it's been interesting all race long. I'll tell you, this has not been a boring race in the slightest. But I'll tell you, things have definitely, we've turned it to a different page of interesting.
Yeah, it took away my GMG pit strategy.
Yeah, that's for sure. I was looking, Brian Johnson, of course, has gotten back by Kenny Powell, I do believe, because of his position on pit road. Can Brandon Passalacqua do anything here? I think he's probably going to be driving a little bit more desperately. He's been in third all race long.
Well, Gitter and Parrish are working together, so no matter what happens, these two are going to fall in behind each other. And I think at that point, you're just along for the ride.
Well, here we go. Pace car dips down pit road as we enter the Geico restart zone, and the green flag flies once again here at New Hampshire. Another great restart there from Gitter. He has been pretty reliable with these great restarts. Kenny Powell, though, under a lot of fire from Josh Schaffner at the moment. Schaffner under fire from Randy Belk. It looks like Kenny Powell able to get clear for the 5th place position. Belk underneath the 50. Also, we see Wojcinski. Go ahead.
Belk's not going to relent. I mean, he's going to be right there because he's got his own agenda about how he thinks this thing's going to end. Now, fortunately for the GMG guys, they see it with them up front, but Belk, well, he's got his own plan, and that's going to be a problem for the GMG guys for a while here, not for Randy Belk.
Yeah, Belk has been really fast here tonight as well, and it looks like he does have EPI under the hood. You can see Race CPI on that race car right now. As here comes Greg Wachinski. Very nice recovery from the 5. Now, remember, if you recall, he got really loose on the shorter runs. So watch out. This 5 could get loose again. And
yeah, but now these two G&G guys are side by side. J.C. Evans is right behind them, and here comes Alexander Carr. Way to go, Mr. Carr, as he is trying to get himself up into the top 10 for the first time tonight.
Yeah, he's been flirting with the top 10 for quite a while here. Carr has definitely been looking strong. Of course, he's battling with Ryan Strunk. Strunk has been notoriously good on the short run, not so much on the long.
There's my buddy in the 67, Stephen Thompson. I'm going to have to send him an apology card. Sir, I didn't mean any disrespect to you. I'm just, sometimes my mouth just runs off loosely in reckless.
You might be wishing you didn't say that because he was getting ready to wreck the 18.
Well, I didn't take my medicine today. I just realized that, too.
That's all right, Big Al. I don't think he's upset with you. I think you were right in a lot of the points you made. I think that, he shouldn't have done what he did, especially at the timing of it. But, I don't think he did it maliciously. I don't think he did it, maliciously.
I'm going to be quiet. I agree. But I was just like, because if he didn't do it intentionally, then he wouldn't have did it.
Yeah. No, I meant he did it intentionally. He didn't do it maliciously.
Right. I'm not. I guess I should not question his intent.
Yeah, he didn't intend to wreck anybody, I don't think.
Yeah, that's what.
But then again, a lot of times, there's plenty of times in my life I don't intend to hurt someone, but I end up doing it anyway. But battle is on.
We just get emotional with racing.
Oh,
racing
yeah, that's for sure.
Emotional sport.
Oh, it very much is. We put our hearts and souls into this, even as commentators.
Even though we're just sitting up here in the booth chilling out, and these guys are down there in the car, and it's hot, and they're sweaty, and they're having to concentrate. I'm just up here running my mouth, drinking a PBR.
Do want to give a shout out to NASCAR 1979 for following us, I do believe, on Twitter, or Twitch, I should say. Definitely appreciate that. As we see Stephen Thompson, of course, still battling right now, trying to get my Alexander Carr, just not quite able to get there. Oh, man, he keeps getting really close to the back end of that 18.
I don't think this is going to end well, Brian.
I don't think so either. Oh, they're getting side by side. You see the 67's getting a little bit tight on the 18 here. Oh, he's going to get loose, but he's able to keep it straight. I think he's going to get clear for the 11th place position. Good job to Stephen Thompson, able to move up one more spot.
Yeah, man, every spot here is precious, man. This has definitely been proved. This has proven to be one of the toughest tracks to pass at that we've been at in a while.
Yeah, 100%. It definitely has been. I'll tell you what, Ryan Strunk is putting a lot of pressure at the moment on the 50 of Schaffner. Schaffner was up and around the 5th place position now, is in danger of possibly losing the top 10 himself. He's in 8th right now and possibly could fall to 9th. Also, you see Frank Flores. He's in a big battle right now with the 17 of Kevin Zaziak. Zaziak not giving Frank Flores a whole lot of room on the backstretch. So this race has definitely been getting incredibly exciting. I keep seeing some smoke, and I think that smoke is probably from Kendall LeVron. He's cooking up some hamburgers on pit road.
That's funny. I'm pretty sure he won't appreciate that one.
I don't. Yes, it smells pretty good. I'll tell you, Patrick Gitter, though, and Shane Parrish have been the class of the field tonight. They've been the class of the field a lot of nights. These guys have definitely sent a big message to a lot of the other guys in the field here. They have said that, hey, this is our track. It looks like we do have another follower there, Derek Jacobs, 83, following us on Twitch. I think I know who Derek Jacobs is. What are you not? You should be on the track, Derek. Where you at?
I think Derek was smart tonight. This is the night to call in sick from work.
Yeah, I guess so. But definitely it's been a good race. Definitely a good one to watch on the broadcast, that's for sure. Glad
Yeah,
everybody is. We definitely appreciate all the people out there watching. That is, without you, we wouldn't be making all this happen. We definitely appreciate it for sure. And of course, with the exception of Derek Jacobs, we hope that if you'd like a good league to run in, this is definitely the one to do. I mean, we talked. I mean, Patrick Gitter, this guy, gives a glowing review talking about, you go to official races, you are not going to get racing like this. This is where you want to be. And another follower here, we're just getting all kinds of followers here. Producer Darby has followed us on Twitch. Thank you for following us. We're popular guys here tonight, Big Al.
Yeah, I think if I'm quiet, we get followers, so I'm going to be quiet.
Oh, no, don't do that. I'm not talking to myself.
No, just watching this dynamic play out here tonight, because this is the part of the race. This is the marathon part. I don't know. I've been watching the Tour de France, but this right here is where drivers are really going to have to kick it in.
I mean, this is when I think time's starting to run out. The hourglass, the sand is starting to run out here, Big Al.
That and the fact that you got 52 laps to go, the majority of these drivers are going to try to make it to the end of this thing. They've already got 16 laps on their equipment, so you start thinking about this. This is going to be, they're setting up potentially to make the longest run of the night. And they've gone this far all week, Brian, so there's a lot of misnomers out there. There's a lot of folklore, but these guys right here are going to be trying to figure out how it's going to work. And the one part that's going to make it even trickier is they're trying to keep up with the guy that's in front of them. So, I mean, I'm just sitting here doing the calculations, and yeah, it's turning out to be pretty fun so far. Yeah,
I mean, I think a lot of guys, we don't know what the tires are going to look like on a that long of a run, and I think we're getting ready to shed some light on that. That's for sure. As of course we see Alexander Carr battling with the 17 of Kevin Zaziak right now. That's for the 12th place position.
Yeah, Zaziak's not going to just let Carr go by. He is challenging him to and fro, just making sure to keep him honest. And Frank Flores, man, Frank's been in. I know we keep talking about the same drivers, but these guys are the guys that are out here actually, they're battling each other lap in, lap out, where, Patrick's just, he ain't even looking out for cops. He's just got the hammer down, and he's southbound. You know what I mean?
Yeah, I think the only one that really Patrick Gitter has to worry about right now is Shane Parrish, and I don't think Parrish is going to let this one go. I say it over and over again. I feel like this guy is going to win. Like, he's going to win at some point. I almost feel like he's letting Patrick have it at the moment, but eventually he's going to get tired of finishing in second fiddle here.
Yeah, especially if you keep bringing it up like that.
Well, I mean, he's finished second place countless times, Big Al. I mean, this guy has been at the doorstep of winning a race so many times. He's like Chase Elliott.
I get it. So you're building this up for Talladega, and this will be like a Ricky Bobby. Yeah, I get it. Rock on, brother. We're with you. I love the narrative.
He's the one like, well, he's like, Ricky, I wish you'd instead of me always pushing you two to win, why can't I win one?
Well, he wasn't until you kept bringing it up, but now I got it. So it's going to be Talladega. That's going to be my prediction.
All right, well, that's your prediction. Shane Parrish wins at Talladega.
Yeah, because you said he's not. I mean, you said he wasn't fast enough to win.
Oh, he is fast enough to win. I know he is. He is. It's just, I think, I don't know if he's just been letting Patrick win, because, I think he qualified on the pole.
Letting Patrick win, I'm sure.
He qualified on the pole. Why would you give up that position at the beginning of the race? I mean, that would have been just a big mistake. I don't know. I mean, it could have just been a mistake. Looks like someone's going a lap down there. That is Jeffrey Ford.
You think Jeffrey Ford just chose to go a lap down, or you think he's just like, crap, these guys are just super freaking fast?
I think they're just super fast.
So Shane Parrish is like, man, this guy's freaking fast.
Yeah, but Parrish is fast you got to think. Patrick Gitter in multiple races has said that Shane Parrish is faster than him on the longer runs. So I just don't understand why Parrish doesn't take advantage and try to win one for himself. I know he can. He's capable. I know he can.
Yes, he is more than capable. But tonight, in this simulation, the fastest car is up front. And for that, boys and girls, we apologize.
Big battle going on right now between, I do believe, Charles Joplin and Kevin Zosiak. Of course, this is for the 14th position. See Zosiak's up on the top side. Joplin on the bottom here. Looks like Zosiak could possibly get clear. I do believe they're coming up on the 82 of Jeffrey Ford as well. Of course, this is actually bringing in Greg Carr. That's another driver we haven't talked a whole lot about here tonight in that 25. He's been, I think, one of the guys that have been struggling. But I got to give a lot of credit where credit's due. Even if you're struggling at a track like this, the fact that you're still out here, I think, means a lot.
And he's on the lead lap too, Brian. So that I mean, look, I'm just saying that the two guys that are leading this thing, they're on a different. Oh, big troubles right there. The 89 got loose, took the 25 with him, as we were just talking about. Greg Carr doing so well. Think that's probably going to end his night, as he did take a direct shot. We're going to be watching that again. But you know what? I don't see any meatball flags, Brian.
Man, the 89 definitely big shot as well there. That could definitely cause some suspension damage, but you said no black flags. Look at that, loose off of turn 2, right. Oh, yeah, that was a big hit for the 25.
Yeah, these cars don't do too good when you try to turn right on the straightaway. And just like that, there's some takers on pit road.
Let's take a look back at this from a different perspective. You see the 89 all of a sudden suddenly lost it. And the 25, hard shot to the front nose. And, of course, the 25 and I do believe the 89 probably both going to be coming down pit road to get some damage repaired.
The 66 is down on pit road as well as the 21. You know, and I think that, you know, that was going to be one of your chances. You got to try to get ahead of these guys at some point. But, you know, we saw that happen. The 67 tried to get ahead, and it had disastrous consequences. So, man, I don't know. Kenny Powell, though, wins the race off of pit road. And I
don't know. He didn't win the race off pit road. He hasn't pitted. He has 27 laps since his last pit stop.
Him and Cody Colley.
This is an interesting decision here for Powell. I don't know what's going on. It looks like he is staying out. This is oh man, I don't like this. I don't like this decision at all.
Tell us why, Brian. Please.
Well, I mean, we talked about it earlier about the 67, you know, staying out like he did. I mean, this is a lot of the same. You know, Kenny Powell. I mean, I know it's late in the race, but still, we have.
Well, that was
we have like 40 laps to go. We have like a little less than 40 to go. That's still a long time.
But that was at the end of a stage break, so that was already 40 plus. This is only 20 plus, and a lot of these drivers are wired in to run this thing to the end of it. So, you know, from that aspect, I think it's a little different.
I think it's not different. I think this is not going to pay off because I mean, Kenny Powell was already up in the top 10. He was flirting with the top 5, and
he was in 4th.
That's what I'm saying. Like he's not going to gain from this. This is going to probably put him outside of the top 10 with how slow he's going to be compared to the rest of the field.
Yeah, but this is about team. I think he's trying to get his team in a better position because if he can even help wear the tires out on the 21 and the 66, that still puts his GNG teammates in a far better position.
You think that's what Kenny's thinking?
Well, I don't know what he's thinking. I mean, I'm just trying to be an analyst. We have to represent every possible angle on this thing.
Yeah, I mean, I got you. I just don't think that's what Kenny's thinking. I think Kenny, I don't know what he's thinking, to be honest with you. So maybe that is what he's thinking. Maybe it was a mistake. Maybe he missed his opportunity.
Lights off on the pace car. He's been getting up out of the way here, but no mistakes. I think every decision these guys are making pretty deliberate from here on out. And I don't think we've seen our last caution as well. So this thing just, I think it does what it does.
I think you're 100% correct, Big O. I am 100% on the money believing you and agreeing that we have not seen the last caution. And I think Kenny Powell's going to be the scene of that caution.
Oh, wow. You're going, okay.
Kenny Powell or the 84. One of those two guys is going to cause this caution. And here we go. We're getting ready to find out as the green flag flies once again.
Be watching the 84.
And here comes Patrick Gitter. Just look at the difference here on tire. This is definitely...
Oh, there's contact right there. The 9 gets loose. He makes contact with the 89 and the 25 again.
Oh, no.
That's never good, man. These guys, I mean, somebody told them we were playing ping pong. That's not till next week, gentlemen. That's going to be on Tuesday night. Tonight we're racing, and it's not a contact sport.
This is a 3-wide scenario right here.
Which is one thing you never want at this track, right?
Oh, just a loose on entry there for the 9. And the 89 just got loose, I do believe, trying to avoid the 9 machine.
So this changes
things. 25 was involved as well, huh?
Yeah, Greg Clark got a little tag action going there as he was trying to get by. So now does the 89 come in? The 84. Does the 84 come in now?
I don't know. I mean, does the 24 or the 84 come in? I'd say is the question.
25 took a hard shot right there.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, he's going to need some TLC on that bad boy. Come on, bring it on down here. Let's get you some goodies as well.
Yeah, I think that's what I said it before. I'll say it again. I think this race was appropriately named the Goodies 200. I tell you, these guys are going to want some after this race here. And look at that right there. You see the 9 kind of drifts up the track and then the 825 into the 17 and the wall. So he got hit on both sides there. As let's take a brief step away. We'll be right back with some more racing action and the conclusion of the Goodies 200.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgotten.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I feel tough, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
Ow. Ew. Ow. Ew.
Want relief from tough pain without the tough taste? Try Goody's Cool Orange. Goody's fast, Goody's delicious. Because pain relief shouldn't be a pain to take. Goody's flavors, taking the pain out of pain relief.
And we are back, ladies and gentlemen. Of course, yellow flag conditions out on the racetrack as we saw a caution that involved the 25.
Green flag.
And it looks like I made a little bit of a mistake there. Green flag is actually back out in the air. Was not live there. Do apologize for that as we see the 84 of Cody Colley on the inside of Brandon Pasalacqua. Do we see another caution come out as Shane Parrish being held up by the 84?
Ooh, gets real tricky here, Brian.
It does. This is definitely affecting, I'd say, Shane Parrish quite a bit as Patrick Gitter has gotten back to the lead. You see Parrish jumps up in front, I do believe, of Greg Wachinski. This has helped out Pasalacqua quite a lot as he is now up into the third position. Of course, he's been third all night, but he has not been in front of Parrish so far this evening. You see Randy Belk also being now held up by Cody Colley. Colley on the older tires at the moment. So he's holding up everybody pretty much on the bottom line at the moment. A lot of guys probably not too happy about that. And you see Pasalacqua starting to catch up quickly to the rear end of Kenny Powell. Powell on about 27 lap older tires than the rest of the field. And he's now got about a second up to Patrick Gitter. I don't think Pasalacqua's going to be too happy with the 24 either. I think that even though they are on the same team, Powell is holding the 6 up, and the yellow flag is back out. Ooh. Almost issues up at the front. How did the caution come out? Thinking it might have been as a result of the 84 here.
84 is having a real tough night here tonight. I mean, he has been at the center of a lot of contact.
And you see right here, I think a little bit of a contact.
Him
and the Josh Schaffner. Oh no. Yeah, I don't think Schaffner's going to be too happy with that 84.
Yeah, Josh Schaffner, recipient of that dreaded meatball flag.
He is now missing his front end. As we take a look back at this, we had a 3-wide scenario. The 84, I think, got loose off of turn 4. Came down, and smashed into the 50, into the inside wall. And Josh Schaffner's night has just went from okay to terrible.
I'm going to tell you what. Permission to speak freely?
Sure.
I don't think we're going to see a whole lot of the 84 after this.
Well, I don't know about, why do you think that?
I mean, he has been at the center of lots and lots of controversy. And if you're the common denominator in a lot of mistakes like that, in a league that prides itself on being clean, sometimes that's just not going to be a good look. I mean, I got to call it like I see it, Brian. I'm looking at the same thing that our fans are looking at, and my job is to kind of make informative. Hey, you know what? I realized when you said that Adam Petty died here, and I don't even know how old you are, but Kenny Irwin died here as well, man. So, and they died pretty close to each other, and they were very close in age as well.
Yeah, it's definitely interesting. I mean, I think that probably in the same manner, same probably part of the wall, I think, if I'm not mistaken.
Yeah, and that's not Kenny. That's not Ernie Irvin. That's Kenny Irwin. He was a young driver.
Kenny Powell has decided to come down pit road. Now, this is an interesting decision. He has now gone back to 15th position now. So this he's going to be on a little bit newer tires. He did hang on. I don't agree with him holding up his own teammate, and I'm sure Pasalacqua is going to agree with me there. But this has allowed Pasalacqua to get in front of Shane Parrish. So whatever the net good here is for G&G. They have moved up a couple spots. Now, with Powell having a little bit newer tires, do you think tires are going to matter enough for him to drive his way close to the front? I mean, think about this. Powell was back in 18th earlier in this race and drove his way up into the top 5.
Yeah, he drove his way up to 4th. So, understanding that we only have a very limited, very sliver, 27 laps to go. That's half almost. That's literally that's going to be 5/8 of what we've done thus far in terms of a full stint. So although Powell's going to go back and he's going to have fresh tires, he's still got to get up there. Now, the benefit that he's going to have is he's got two G&G teammates in front of Shane Parrish, and that's going to wear Parrish down just a little bit in order for him to try to get up to Gitter. So I think G&G definitely has themselves set up for a pretty sweet payday.
100% here as the pace car lights are out. Green flag soon to be back out in the air. Anybody's race, but of course the most dominant driver has been Patrick Gitter. Greg Wychinski now up in the top 5 for the first time here. Of course, Ryan Strunk has been really good on the short runs. I think he could be possibly a top 5 finisher here if it goes green from here. We'll have to wait and see as the pace car has dipped down pit road. The green flag is back out in the air. Gitter with a awesome restart. He just launches so well on the green flag and now has about a half a second back to Pasalacqua as Pasalacqua trying to hold off the 66.
Yeah, Pasalacqua having no problems right now holding off the 66, but behind them, Brian, that's where it gets interesting because they are side by side trying to find their stride. And right now, I don't know how this is going to stack up. I think we're definitely looking at the top of a powder keg here. Going to have to be very cautious and watching this one because it's unfolding.
Yep, I think we might have a problem. Oh, they kept it
3
together.
wide again. Nope,
there
he
goes the
goes
9.
sideways. The 9, is he still on his way? It is still going to be green. He is stopped in the middle waiting for a caution. It's not going to fall his way. Might as well go ahead and put her in gear and go, bud.
Man, J.C. Evans, let's take a look back at that. You see that Frank Flores sent it in on the 9. Battle was side by side. They took it 3 wide. Kenny Powell took huge advantage. Look at this. You see the 9 was clear, and the 8 was like, no, sir. He decided to send it in on him. The 9 kept it good, though, and then all of a sudden he got loose on the exit, so the car was already unbalanced. No caution, though, so that's going to be a huge price there for the 9. Tell you what, though, Kenny Powell took advantage of that situation. Now back up into the top 10. Shane Parrish has also gotten back in front now of Pasalacqua.
Yeah, this race is going to continue till it's done. 22 laps to go before it's in the books. These guys are not anywhere close to being done with racing as they're keeping it exciting all the way through the end of this thing, Brian.
Oh, they definitely are. As you see Greg Wychinski trying to put some pressure there on Ryan Strunk. You see the 67 of Stephen Thompson. This guy, I'll tell you, you love him or hate him, he don't go away. I'll tell you that, as he is up to 7th now. The guy, he's been fast in that Ford. I'll tell you that. He might have made a bad decision earlier in this race, but he definitely has shown that he's fast. Oh, a little bit of a touch there on the wall from the 67. Here comes Kenny Powell on the inside of Charles Joplin.
Powell's trying to make his way back up to the front. Now he is back into the top 10.
Yep, trying to work his way up to 9th. Of course, he has the freshest tires in the field right now. But I think he might not have enough time here to get up to the lead.
Yeah, Shane Parrish and Patrick Gitter doing exactly what they've been doing all night. And that is solidifying the positions up front, Brian.
Oh, yeah. They have been 1-2 pretty much all night long. This race is pretty much, I'd say the top 4 have stayed the same all race long for the most part, or top 3 at least. But
Wychinski trying to battle on the inside of Ryan Strunk. That is going to be for 5th spot.
Look at Strunk. Oh, man. It's a big run up to the back of the 5. This is not over yet.
Yeah, Wychinski's definitely not going to appreciate that too much. Starting this thing all the way back in 7th. Now Wychinski trying to get back up into P5. Strunk not letting them have it.
Not at all, but I think Wachinski now has defended it. He is now up into fifth securely. But I think Strunk is not going to leave him alone. You can see, I think Strunk's faster in the center of the corners here. Oh, he gets loose on exit. This is going to provide some sort of reprieve there to the 5.
A little bit of relief, but that's all he's going to need. Speaking of which, there goes Kenny Powell. He just got by Randy Belt. Belt, another driver, hard to pass here, but Powell's got to be feeling pretty good about that position as he makes his way back up to 8th.
Yeah, Powell with a little bit of a blink there. Hopefully that does not continue. But yeah, he is now back up to 8th. Going to try to catch up there to Stephen Thompson. As Patrick Gitter now has a second lead on Shane Parrish. I think this is Patrick Gitter's race to lose. As we're coming up, I do believe, on 15 laps to go here. Like I said before, the sand in the hourglass is starting to run out.
Kenny Powell pushing it hard. He is now onto the back end of Stephen Thompson. Thompson, remember earlier, fell kind of victim to his own reprieve, but here comes Powell down to the inside as he continues his charge to get back up into at least the top 5.
Yeah, and at this rate, I think he might make it. I mean, he's looking really good. He's still got enough time. He's been running significantly faster. I want to look at lap times here for Kenny Powell. Kenny Powell hitting a 31.063. That was faster than everybody that is in 4th on back. Of course, the top 2, I think, were about the same lap times as Kenny. So he's looking like he's got top 3 lap times right now.
Well, hopefully he can get to the top 3, Brian. That will be able to talk to him about his remarkable feats here tonight. The agony, the thrills, the defeat, all of it. I think he's experienced every emotion that you possibly could here this evening.
He definitely has. I'd say so. He's working his way up to try to catch up to Ryan Strunk.
But kudos to
12 to go. Go ahead.
12 laps to go. Kudos to Brian Johnson. He's making it happen, man. He started this thing somewhere in 5th place, currently running in 4th place. Going to be a great points day for that team.
Oh, yeah. Brian Johnson definitely going to be a great points day for him. I do believe at the moment, I think he's like 40-something points in the Super Cup standings, about 40 points back from Brandon Pasalacqua. He needs to beat Pasalacqua. But unfortunately, so that's not the case tonight. Unfortunately, Pasalacqua's finished better than him in both the stages. But this is not a bad day still for Johnson. If he's not going to lose too much because he's been in the top 5 all race long. And I think, knowing Johnson as well, he's been working on that car. He's one of those guys that always works on the car constantly.
Speaking of working on the car, Kenny Powell's doing just that as he is nose deep into the 77 and Ryan Strunk going to be trying to get around him come hell high water. And speaking of working hard, though, you're absolutely correct about that with Brandon Pasalacqua and Brian Johnson. Now, if Brandon stays present, I think he might be viable, but sometimes these guys have a tendency of going missing. Kenny Powell makes his successful pass, and now he finds himself up in the 6th place.
Yep, Kenny Powell now up to that 6th place position. And it's quite a little bit of ways to go to get up to Wachinski over a second. So he's going to have to definitely put his nose to the grindstone here as we have less than 10 laps to go. Patrick Gitter about 7/10 of a lead right now. Last time by, Shane Parrish was a little bit faster than Gitter. Does Parrish still have a chance at wrangling a win here?
Yeah. Talladega.
Now coming up to 8 laps to go. Patrick Gitter and Shane Parrish almost 2 seconds up on Pasalacqua right now. These guys have been almost untouchable here tonight.
Yeah, but here comes Kenny Powell. He's going to be doing everything he can with 10 laps, with less than 10 laps to go to close that gap between he and his G&G teammate, Greg Wyszynski. Now, these two guys race each other harder than anybody that we've seen in the series, and I think that's probably the closest race that we're going to have here as we get closer to the end of this thing.
Now, you're 100% right. I mean, we say it all the time. I mean, these guys race each other. They race each other like they're not teammates. I mean, that's how they
race
always
each other like they're brothers.
Oh yeah, they fight like cats and dogs. But after the race, though, they're always good and friendly.
Yeah, I have the privilege of actually hanging out with Mr. Wyszynski and Mr. Powell, and yeah, two top-notch drivers, man, and they're just that competitive. I do believe that's the only quick answer that I think we could come up with.
Coming up now on 6 laps to go. Kenny Powell, of course, catching up quickly to the back end of Greg Wyszynski. As it looks like, for the most part, the field is about where I think they're going to finish at. Possibly Randy Belk could maybe get by Stephen Thompson. He's really
gonna
close.
try.
He's going to try, that's for sure.
He's going to try.
Randy Belk's definitely had a good run here tonight so far.
What are your final thoughts here as we wrap this race up here tonight, Brian? Not a lot of dynamic action going on, but what are your thoughts here coming into this race as we wrap it up versus what you thought you were going to see?
I mean, I think my expectations were pretty much matched. I thought this was going to be a good race, and I think that I was right. I think that these guys definitely have not disappointed. It's been exciting from start to finish. I have not found myself being bored at all. Been at the edge of my seat for the most part, and I think the best driver is in the lead right now.
Definitely, as Patrick Gitter has swept all 3 stages and led every lap of this race, with the exception of maybe 2.
Yeah, like a handful. Probably has not many that he has not led. That is for sure. Is Powell.
That was not by merit either. That was by strategy. The laps that he didn't lead, it wasn't because, he was faster. It was just somebody had a better strategy at that point. But those guys definitely knowing what they needed to do in order to get this thing done here tonight. So kudos and congratulations to the leader, Patrick Gitter, for getting it done.
It's not over yet, though. You got to remember, we got to run all the laps, Big Al. Until that white flag comes out, anything can happen.
You sound like that sounds like something Big Al would say.
It does, doesn't it? As we see the battle for that 5th place position underway, the 5 and the 24 dueling for the top 5. As we come to 2 laps to go here in just a moment. Looks like Powell sends it in to 3 and 4. Is he going to be able to get the pass completed? And I think he will. Powell up to 5th.
And I think he needed that. I think he needed that in order to consider tonight to be a success. But, Kenny, it was a success regardless of that. You guys run a heck of a race, man. Way to battle back from adversity. 2 laps to go here before we actually put this thing in the books. Patrick Gitter completely getting it done.
Oh, yeah, for sure. As he gets up to, I do believe, the start-finish line. The white flag is out in the air. Final lap here at New Hampshire. Patrick Gitter has a 2.5 seconds right now. Pretty much no worries in that 21's mind, I do believe, as he has utterly dominated the competition out here tonight as he enters 3 and 4. He's going to exit turn 4 and onto the front stretch as a winner here at New Hampshire. He crosses the line, and he will go to victory lane. Patrick Gitter utterly schooling the field here tonight. Telling you what, everybody but him is going to be taking themselves a bit of some goody powders for some fast pain relief.
Man, you know what, though? I think kudos to everybody that finished this thing that started it. It was a great race. It was a great production. We put on a tremendous, it was a great performance, put on a tremendous production. With that, let's take a step away, get some.
We got to read the final results out here first, Big Al. Let's let Patrick Gitter celebrate just a second here, and then we're going to read out the final results, and then we will take that step away. Look at that. Almost like synchronized swimming there from those two dual burnouts. That's awesome.
Dual burnouts. Who'd have thunk it?
All righty, let's take a look at the results here. Of course, Patrick Gitter, your winner here tonight. Shane Parrish, second place. Brandon Paslakwa finishes in third. Brian Johnson, fourth. Kenny Palin, fifth. Greg Wachinski, sixth. Seventh place, Ryan Strunk. Eighth place, Stephen Thompson. Ninth, Randy Belk. And 10th, Charles Joplin.
11th place is going to be Alexander Carr with Frank Flores in 12th. Kevin Zosiak, 13th. Cody Colley comes across in 14th. 15th place shows Greg Carr. 16th, J.C. Evans. 17th place is Jeffrey Ford. 18th, Josh Schaffner, some 29 laps back. Kimball LeBron in 19th, some greater laps back. And 20th, Paul Olson.
And, of course, rounding out this 22-car field is Greg Newsom and Al Kozlowski. With that, we'll be right back, ladies and gentlemen. We'll take a brief commercial break, and we'll be back with our post-race show where we'll talk to our top 3 finishers.
Hey everybody, my name is Warren Maddox. I am the president of Ultimate Experience Outdoors. Our mission, we are dedicated to taking veterans, first responders, youth, and Gold Star family members on outdoor excursions across the country.
Support for our mission has many forms. From camp cooks to the great storytellers, some buddies with the band, maybe you just want to build a campfire and sit around and listen. Nothing goes unnoticed.
Camaraderie is reborn. The acceptance among the men and women that took an oath.
Whether it was decades ago or recently renewed, but never forgot.
If you feel like you could help us, please visit our website, www.uxonation.org.
There, you can register to hunt, sign up to sponsor an event, or even donate to us so we can continue to execute our mission.
Oh my gosh, I'm so tough, bro. We get a hug, man. What have you done, Jim?
We need your help to hold the line once again.
Ow. Ew. Ow. Ew.
Want relief from tough pain without the tough taste? Try Goody's Cool Orange. Goody's fast, Goody's delicious. Because pain relief shouldn't be a pain to take. Goody's flavors, taking the pain out of pain relief.
Welcome back, ladies and gentlemen, to the ISCA Thursday Cup Series, as we have just concluded our race here at New Hampshire with the Goodies 200. Of course, we're going to be joined in the booth by our first guest, our third-place finisher, started in third and finished third, Brandon Paslakwa. Man, what did you need to do to finish up in the top 2? It seemed like you had an opportunity to get by Parrish. You were by him, but it looked like nothing could hold that 66 back. What did you need to be better there tonight? I mean, it seemed like you had a really good car, top 3 car, good points, but just were not able to just be just that good enough to get up there to get her.
Yeah, no, I need there's probably need some more talent in the driver's seat in order to run with the EPI guys. So I'm super happy with third place, and I think I ran third the entire race. So great points day, we'll take it. Um, I hate New Hampshire. It's only my second time having a race here, so I'm glad that I had a decent run today. Definitely took a lot of practice. The most interesting thing was, as soon as we got in the race, I saw that Patrick and Shane were running a completely different line than what I was. So I definitely was racing a little bit different there. So definitely learned a lot today. Know what I need to adjust going forward, and just like we had a good points day.
Yeah, definitely was a great points day for you, for sure. I know you don't like this track, but it seemed like you definitely had a good handle on it. What are some of the difficulties, and why don't you like this track?
Yeah, no, I just don't understand. I mean, the thing that I cannot stand the most at this track into the run is get super tight at the center of each turn, and then that makes me break loose off axis. So there's that balance, and I do drive super hard into the corner, so I know there's room to be gained there, and maybe take it a little bit easier. But yeah, it's just too tight in the center. I worked with Brian and Josh all week with setups, and no matter what we did, we still had the same lap times, no matter what adjustments. So I just need to become more familiar and work on my driving ability here, and I'm sure I'll like it a lot more coming here next time.
Alrighty, well, definitely. Speaking of next time, I do believe next week we're going to be heading to Pocono, the Tricky Triangle. How you feel about that place?
I'm excited. It'll be good to get spread out a little bit. Hopefully, there. I'm not sure how much the draft's going to play into effect. So it'll be interesting to see. It'll be my first time there with these cars as well. So we'll get together with the G&G boys and see what we can do, and see if we can give Patrick and Shane a run for their money next week.
All right, Brandon. Who could we give a shout out to after your third place finish?
Yeah, definitely want to give a shout out to Patrick and Shane. They had the fastest cars, best drivers all night, so congrats to those two. Want to thank Brian and Josh for working with me all week and trying to dial in the setup and just try to figure out what the best line was. The G&G boys had a good showing today. I think we finished third through seventh, so it was great to see Brian, Kenny, and Greg have good finishes as well. And then just want to thank you guys up in the booth. We really appreciate you guys putting on a show for us.
Alrighty, man. No problem at all. Glad to feel the love, considering I missed last week due to an internet issue. But we'll see you next week there, Brandon, and hopefully, cross my fingers, we don't have any more issues. But have a great night, brother.
Appreciate it, Brian. Take care.
Alrighty, that was Brandon Pasalacqua, our third place finisher. Next up, Big Al is standing by with our second place finisher and pole sitter, Shane Parrish.
Shane Parrish, Big Al up in the booth. You got me?
Got you, Big Al.
Man, what an exciting race tonight. But I'm going to ask you the question that everybody's wanting to know. When are you wanting to change the view up? You've been following Patrick Gitter for a while. When is it going to be your turn to lead this thing and win a race?
When Patrick gets into a track he ain't as good at, he's just on another level than me. Congratulations to him on the win. He's just so consistent. That's why he's in the 6,000 I ratings and I'm 4,500. Big difference. So, I'm growing little by little. I got to say a lot for this track, man. This is my second time like Brandon here. Congratulations to him on his third place and running me clean back there. It was fun with him and Brian and Kenny and those guys putting that little strategy out, staying out there and trying to hold us up and trying to be able to let their guys get ahead. That was a great strategy. I was a little unfamiliar. I didn't know being back there in six. It's real hard to pass here, but we made her up.
Very hard to pass indeed. So not a lot of laps, green flag laps at all in practice. I don't think it was available. So my question to you is, does it look different if we go green all the way through the end of this thing? How does your strategy change when the caution came out on that last leg?
It just, I just knew that I could just drive it harder. I didn't have to save as much. So I just knew I could go. I try to run the 40 to 60 lap runs to be faster at the end and not run as hard at the front, run at 80, 85% instead of 95 to 100. But there at the end, when we had to go, it's time to go. And it was 95% getting up there through the traffic. And then I started gaining on Patrick and I'm like, might have a chance here. And then I knew just shortly after the tires started giving away and I just ran too hard through the field. But it was fun. It's just a great night. I've been so bad here. I had such a bad night Monday and Tuesday in the official races, lost so many points in a safety rating. I can't thank Conti enough for getting with me a couple of training sessions and getting me going here for a second time racing here. I feel really good.
You know, that's the one thing we talk about. A lot of guys come out and you didn't get a chance to run a lot of green flag laps in the opens in the A class races. You know, just a lot of accidents at New Hampshire. You guys were actually able to keep it clean and green, and for that we thank you. It's always a pleasure to cover you guys because you know it's exciting for us. You guys are so professional, man. So before we let you go, well, next week we're headed out to Pocono. Sorry, I done lost myself. Next we'll head to Pocono. What are you projecting here? How's it going to look here coming from you guys next week?
I don't know. You know, had a setup, and I ran with Conti last night, and we did an hour practice and training session on it. So that track is just so much different driving. That's my first time hearing an open setup. So, and I've only ran it a few times. So it's really, really different to drive with the setups and super loose off. So it's going to be a challenge for me next week. I'm going to put in the laps. I probably got 2,500 to 3,000 laps here this week to try to get the car to go, and I finally did. So I'll be ready for next week. EPI will be ready for next week. I know Conti's working on the setup now, so him and the guys at EPI, they just do a great job of giving us the setups and able us to learn to drive them and just try to kick some butt, you know, and have some fun, which we did tonight. And I was really proud of the entire team and everybody, you know, here in the league. Everybody raced clean, had a good time, and it was fun racing everybody.
Yeah, you want to make a projection for next week as far as where you guys are going to finish?
I know Patrick will be up front. I'm sure Matt, unfortunately, he won't be here. He's out for a few weeks traveling for work. I know he'd be up there. I'm going to try to be in the top 5, but it's just going to depend on how much practice I can get in and what we're going to do. I know they're going to come out with a great setup. It's just going to be how you drive it.
Roger that, sir. Congratulations again for your second place finish. Before I let you go, who you shouting out tonight?
I want to shout out to Patrick. You know, I got to run the ride with him, and Monday and Tuesday it was so bad, and then I got wrecked out of the race Tuesday night on the first corner. So I rode with him for the entire race and got my training back in with Conti, taught me and got myself going. But I want to thank EPI and Conti, Patrick for his help this week, and just everybody. It's just been a super time, and love running with EPI. They just give us some great sets, and it's fun to drive.
Hey man, I just want to say it's a pleasure to watch you guys work together because it really brings diversity to the league, and it is totally our honor to actually call the race. So congratulations again, and we can't wait to see what you guys bring for us next week.
Well, thank you, Big Al and Brian up there in the booth. You guys do a great job covering. I love going down after the race when I do well, and I'll drink a couple beers and just watch the race over the computer and watch you guys do your broadcast. You do a super job up there. So keep up the good work. And again, Patrick, great job, man. Wished I could have got my bumper there.
Roger that. Enjoy yourself, and as I always say, don't party too hard.
Thank you, guys.
Alrighty, that was Shane Parrish, our second place finisher. Next up, we're going to be talking to Patrick Gitter, the dominator here tonight. Of course, led 179 laps out of 188. I'm telling you, if we didn't have cautions at certain points, I think he would have led more than that. Man, Patrick, what a performance tonight. I mean, seemed like no one could stop you. You had the best car for sure. The best man won, I'd say, tonight for sure. I thought Shane might have had something for you there, but it looks like you just had it all bases covered. You know, Patrick, what were you doing different than everybody else out there? It just seemed like you had this place nailed down.
Yeah, well, I appreciate that, Brian. I just think I was fortunate in the track position. Track position is so critical here. It's difficult to pass, and so I mean that was a big piece of it. Shane and I were talking during the race, and it seemed like dirty air was a pretty big factor in his ability to get up to me. I mean, he was able to get up to me several times in the race, and then dirty air just presented a challenge. Speaking of Shane, though, I mean, shout out to him. He got this track figured out just a day or so ago and had a great showing tonight. So he ran well. But yeah, I mean, I think track position was just a big thing, and then being consistent and trying not to burn that right rear up too much.
Yeah, for sure. And you know, track position, that was something you got really early, which is kind of surprising how that worked out on lap number 1. I mean, you had the outside pole. How did you take the lead on lap 1 like that? I mean, was it a mistake on Shane's part? Like, what happened there?
No, I don't think so. I mean, it was first off, it wouldn't have even happened, and if Shane wasn't as respectful, and I mean, he and I have raced enough together where I know that I can trust he's going to hold his line. I can hold my line, and we'll race hard. And that was a product of it. And I feel like I've had some luck passing on the outside early. If you wait too long on the run, it's not going to happen. You've got to pass on the outside in the first like 3-4 laps, or else it's not going to hold. So I gave it a shot, and it just worked out there on that first lap.
Yeah, I'm shocked. I mean, because he wasn't able to replicate that either. I mean, it seemed like every restart you were able to really, do flawlessly. So that was definitely very interesting to see that. That was kind of the winning move of the race in a lot of ways. I mean, because you took that lead and you never gave it back. So definitely seemed like you had the speed for sure. What do you like about this track? What do you like? I mean, this is a tough track. Not a lot of guys like this track, but it seemed like this seems like one of your better ones.
What I like about it is it kind of reminds me of the short track racing I used to do on here. I mean, some of the tracks I used to run a lot of the tour modified races, and those cars you could, mid race or the end of the race. I mean, if you had the right set, you could kind of control the looseness of it, give it a little slip angle off exit, and be fast, but not be wrecking loose. And I felt like I was able to do that in this car here. Just have a little slip angle and pivot the car a little bit off exit, but it would kind of sort itself out if you had your throttle inputs right. So I don't know. I mean, I think I just having that background at some of these technical tracks, I think it's really helpful. And so, guys that are new to iRacing and learning and kind of playing around with different things are just looking for something different to do. I mean, those kind of cars really pay off to learn to race on, like the super lates, the tour mods, the late models. I mean, cars like that on these short tracks, sometimes they can transition to the A car, and I felt like that helped me out tonight.
Yeah, that's definitely interesting you say that. I mean, I know that this is definitely a technical track. I mean, I think that long sweeping corners, and I think that kind of highlights some guys' weaknesses, or you can highlight strength. And I think that kind of highlighted your strength here tonight. Just considering those long sweeping corners, you're on and off the gas a lot more. It's more like less of an on and off switch here tonight. You seem like you just showed a lot of expertise here. No one ever really seemed to have anything for you except for Shane. He was the only one that really kept you honest out there. Everybody else seemed like they weren't even in your zip code. Of course, next week we're going to be heading to Pocono, the Tricky Triangle. That's another one that's quite technical. 3 different corners. How you going to tackle it?
Man, I don't know. It's going to take some seat time, but that's a track where I haven't raced there a lot, so it's gonna be kind of shaking off some rust, relearning how the car's gonna react there. That second corner with the chute makes me nervous about every time I drive it in there if you're too wide with somebody. So there's gonna be some give and take to watch, I think, on that side of the track next week. So that'll be interesting. But regardless, looking forward to it. Especially with the guys here in ISCA. I mean, I look forward to these races on Thursdays. Clean racing, it's respectful. That's why we didn't have as many cautions here tonight compared to the officials we've seen this week. So just appreciate that, and had thought about that some today.
Yeah, that's for sure. Definitely, I've heard the officials have been quite no fun, but this series definitely always seems to be very green, clean and green, and we enjoy it definitely up here as broadcasters. I hate if you guys had cautions every 5 seconds. I don't know if I'd be able to do this. I take that, but you guys make it fun to watch, and congratulations, Patrick, on this dominant win. I mean, I do believe this is your 5th victory this season, and you're quickly moving up the point standings. And it's surprising to say, I think you came into this race 9th in the Super Cup points, which is kind of surprising. Considering just how dominant you've been. But of course, you did start later in the season, but you're still steadily working your way up through the rankings. Who can we give a shout out to after this big win?
Yeah, man. First off, EPI, they gave us an awesome piece this week to work with the set. So shout out to those guys. Shout out to Team Conti and Michael Conti. He's the head man behind the scenes. So shout out to him for building this thing for us. Shout out to Barden PC. You know, they supply a lot of our guys with some PC equipment. I know one of our guys, Matt DeCiani, just got a new computer from them, so check them out if you need anything. And C12 Design Shop, they got my paint for tonight. Been running it for several weeks. Looks great, so check them out if you need to paint. And shout out to you guys up in the booth. You guys do an awesome job, very respectful. We appreciate what you do. And shout out to Kenny for putting on the league. It's been awesome to run.
All right, Patrick. Well, thank you for sure for putting on a good show for us, keeping it interesting, and definitely making it not boring for us. We'll see you next week, Patrick. You have a great night, and don't party too hard, as Big Al always says.
Big 10-4. Appreciate it, guys.
All righty. That was Patrick Gitter, our winner here tonight. Led 179 laps out of 188. That was a straight old butt cutting here tonight, wouldn't you say, Big Al?
I would definitely say that some lessons were learned. It was a great race, Brian, and I'm going to tell you throughout the event, everything that goes into this, the production and the amount of time that the drivers put in, the amount of time that their spouses and families allow them to put in order to make this thing come out as great as it does on Thursday nights. I mean, I know I structure my week around it, and I know a lot of our listeners do. So I just want to thank everybody that's a part of this in any way for the amount of time that you put in. It does not go unnoticed, and your sacrifices are greatly appreciated.
All righty. Well, thanks everybody for tuning in. Of course, big shout out to our top three finishers: Patrick Gitter, Shane Parrish, and Brandon Pasalacqua, and everybody else out there that put on such a great finish and kept it, or put on such a great race and kept it very interesting. Of course, if you'd be interested in joining this series, you could look up the iRacing Stock Car Association on the league directory on iRacing. Of course, you can also find, I do believe, the ISCA on Facebook. You can reach out to Kenny Powell through there as well to maybe get in here and maybe have your name called out on the racetrack. Of course, this is definitely a good way to learn as well. If you're looking to probably get a little bit better and you know, try to hone your skills, these are some of the best iRacers on the service that race in this series, of course. But as I mentioned before, thanks to everybody out there tuning in, and we'll see you next week at Pocono about 9:15 p.m. Eastern Standard Time is when the broadcast itself will go live. Of course, at around 9:30, a little after that, we will go green flag racing at the Tricky Triangle. That is definitely going to be a tricky place. I'm not sure what to expect. We're going to see a lot of everything. I think some drafting. We're going to see some road course style corners. I can't talk. But we definitely can't wait to see what it looks like. Thanks for watching, everybody, and we'll see you next time